Hello.
Such an idiot.
Hey.
Honestly.
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
everybody. The day has already started out. We're already sitting here laughing at each other. So, I hope everybody had a great week. I've really been looking forward to today because I want to paint. I want to paint something that is, see? Told you. I know. Stop.
I told you.
I know. I forgot about the volume on the iPad. Sorry. I didn't forget. I just didn't do it.
Didn't forget. I just don't care.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been hands have been bothering me this week, so I didn't do a whole lot of painting, but I did paint the piece for today. I really love this. Anything to do with Christmas and the festivities, I love. So we're going to be painting Christmas cookie board today. I love the surface. I love this little surface. I think is really, really cute. This one is from Chris Hoy at Cupboard Distributing. I don't know. This one's versatile. I used the smooth side and then I kept flipping it over and looking at the other side because it's got some great little grooves in it that I think are really fun that you could do something fun with. So I have another one. So I'm going to do another one. But I really like the surface and they're affordable. They're not horribly expensive. I think they're still under $5 for one of these. They're a great little surface. So this is the piece that we're doing today, which is this Christmas cookies board. You'll note Bob makes an appearance. So Renee and I were talking about that earlier. Now, where did Bob go? I had Bob here a minute ago. There he is. So had to make sure that Bob was with us for this one. So what else? A Happy Mail.
You got a Happy Mail this week?
I got Happy Mail. One, I got a Tombow shipment.
Of course. I can see that.
I love Tombow. This is my latest obsession. Like I'm loving these. These are Tombow's mono drawing pens in the black ink. They are waterproof, extremely fine. They have really nice. The ink is nice and black. They're awesome, and they don't have that tip that goes when you press down on them. And the set comes in 3 sizes. These are just phenomenal, and I've been playing with these all week because I'm a little bit obsessed with these markers right now. They're beautiful, and this one there's a 01, a 03, and a 05 in this set. I got a bunch of these in. I also got the 01s, which is the fine. This is the ultra fine. Look at the tip on this. It's like super fine. And I've been using this instead of my Uniball Signo just to see what it would do, and it works like a hot damn. I love it. So I've been playing with this. These are water-based pigment ink, and they are waterproof when completely dry. So love them. So that was one thing that came in this week. And then I also got more stuff. Oh, well, I get a shipment from Cupboard Distributing from CD Wood. Girls there are so good to me. And I had asked for a couple of fun little stencils. Look at this. Is this not the cutest thing ever? Farm Fresh Eggs. I just loved this stencil. So there will more than likely definitely be a piece coming up that uses the stencil because one, it's lettering, and two, I just think it's fun. I love this one. And then she had this really great background stencil in there.
Cool.
So I'm anxious to try that. I had found a stencil in my stash that had this really pretty leafy background that I really wanted to use. But the problem is that if I put it in a pattern and I can't find them, and the company that made it is now defunct. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then I'm surfing on CD Wood and I find this, and this is perfect for what I have in mind. So, I was really excited about that. So if you haven't had a look at CD Stencils, go and check them out at cdwood.com because they've got some really cool stuff in there. It's dangerous.
I see you got some snowflakes there too.
I do have snowflakes, but that's part of our shout out of the week. So I'm going to finish talking about Happy Mail. Now I'll talk about that because I got a lot to say about that. My friend Sheila and I, we have some interesting conversations. And it usually starts out with conversations about, have you tried? And have you seen? And the next thing you know, we are both on Jackson's website ordering stuff. Because now we both have to try it. Or she'll try it And then she'll tell me about it, and then I'll have to try it. And it's a very dangerous relationship. I love her to death. But she's an enabler.
So are you.
I know. But it's funny because she had talked about ordering pencils. And I was on the Jackson's website and I ordered these. Turns out we both ordered the same thing. These are a Faber-Castell. They're the Pitt Graphite Matte. So the graphite dries very flat. This is an 11-piece set, but that includes, you have a tortillon, and then you have a pencil sharpener, and then you have this nice eraser, and then there's a set of pencils in here. And they range from an HB to a 14B. So there's a whole variety of hardnesses and softness of lead, or graphite in this case. And of course, they're very typically Faber-Castell. They're beautifully presented. You know, they just do a really great job. And then they come in this great little metal case. So Sheila had started working on her drawing piece, and then I started working on mine. So she's doing this incredible cat. She is absolutely incredible. She's amazing. She's got an eye done.
An eye?
An eye. And it's already incredible.
What do you have done?
I've been working on this. I found a really nice reference photo from National Geographic, believe it or not. I couldn't find the photographer's name, so I'm not going to show you the reference. But this is what I've been doing with those Faber-Castell pencils. So this is my attempt at a bald eagle. We'll see how it goes. But I haven't done this kind of drawing in a very long time. So it's, kind of having to relearn a few things. But I'm rather excited about it. So that's my happy mail this week.
Sheila's actually writing a blog about the pencils.
Yeah, Sheila's really great at writing and breaking down things like the qualities of those pencils. She's very articulate that way, so I look forward to reading what she writes. So, snowflakes.
Shout out
of the week this week goes to Southern Ridge Trading. It's a great little Canadian company in British Columbia. She makes laser cut embellishments out of chipboard, out of wood. She also makes some surfaces. This is the company that I get my snowflakes from. And I have these in a variety of sizes. I don't know what I have left in inventory, but so if you're looking for stuff like this, whether it's for mixed media, for construction type work or assemblage, whatnot, go and check out chipboard.ca. She has a huge selection on her website of the most gorgeous embellishments and items that you can use for assemblage and for mixed media art and for scrapbooking. And like I use them in decorative painting. I use her snowflakes in particular. And she has a great selection of really beautiful surfaces. So if you've got a minute and are looking for something a little unusual, go and check out one of my favorite shops here in Canada. It is chipboard.ca, and yes, she will ship to the U.S. Shipping is actually very reasonable to the U.S.
Are those new snowflakes that she's got designed?
They are. Aren't they beautiful?
What's
They're
part
gorgeous.
Number?
The part number on these is Snowflakes 714.
714.
Yeah, and they're about, I would say, 1.5 inches across. They're beautiful. And really intricate. It's one of the things I love about it. She does really intricate and detailed work. So that is my shout out for this week. It is to Southern Ridge Trading at chipboard.ca.
Right on. Links in the description.
Links are in the description, yes.
Want to go check them out? You should be able to just click the link and it'll take you right there.
Yep. And what else? I did have, I got all my new colors. I got all my
you
new
want to
colors.
talk about the colors?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got to talk about the colors.
Yes.
I got all my new colors.
All the new decor colors.
I am a very happy camper. Finally got all the new
Americana?
colors. These are all Americanas. There's 15 new colors.
But you said there was a couple that you'd swear were fluid acrylics.
Yes. There's more than a couple, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There are...
So they act like fluid acrylics, but they're not part of the fluid acrylic media line?
Yeah. There are 7 colors or sorry, 6 colors. That one's not one. There's 6 colors out of the 15 that are fully transparent.
Jeez.
Like they're very transparent. So I have been playing with these all week. I love the transparency of these. I will tell you one thing. When you're working with something like this, although this one is really deceptive. This is that Paradise Green. This one is really deceptive. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it's going to be nice and opaque and whatnot. Oh, no. They're very transparent. So it's a little bit deceptive when you first look at them because, look at this pink. This pink looks like it would cover better, but it really doesn't. It's very transparent. So when you initially look at them, you might find them a little deceptive, but the vibrancy of the color, the pigmentation of these is just spectacular. Their transparency works hugely in their favor. These are not base coat colors. That's the one thing I will say. These are not base coat colors. These are colors that you are going to shade with and tint with and intensify with. But they're not base coat colors. So, but you could find...
As you found out the hard way.
I found out the hard way. Well, that's how you find these things out. You got to play with them, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and we will because we're using all of these colors in the piece that we're painting today. So we're going to have some fun. I've had this piece sitting there for like a week waiting for these paints to get here.
You had it all designed?
I had it all designed. I even knew what everything else that I was doing, and I was just waiting for the new colors to get here so I could...
How does it feel to be ahead of the game today?
Today?
Yeah.
To be ahead?
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep feeling like I forgot something. I'm ahead of the game. I'm not used to it.
Obviously, Linda Safranco is reminding me to ask what are the prizes for today.
Well, you tell me.
I don't know.
They're right behind you.
They're right behind me?
Yeah, we have brush sets. 4 of them.
Right. We're doing that thing for the month.
It's week 2.
It's week 2 of the month thing.
Yep. So it's up to you.
It's up to me. Aye, okay.
So he's going to check on which brushes we're giving away this week, if I'm not mistaken. You're going in the middle?
Yeah.
So it's either going to be in caustic or micron. And dead silence from the peanut gallery. Are you looking?
It didn't help that I grabbed 2 of the same, or two different ones. Went for the middle, ended up with...
And split the difference.
Can't split the difference. I got 2... I'm going with these 4.
I was looking at some of the questions. Patrick Penifus had a great question today. He was looking for the hex colors.
Oh, look at that.
The hex number.
And caustics.
Dynasty and caustics. That's what we're giving away today. So there's a variety of things in those brush sets. I think there's 4 or 5 brushes in each of those sets, and they have some of the specialty brushes in them. So you're not only some rounds, but some angles, some foliage, some neat brushes in there from Dynasty and Caustic.
Jessica is late.
She's late?
Yeah, she says, sorry I'm late. I was in the garden nursery. It's okay. You're allowed to be late if you want to be.
Patrick Penifus had sent a message on the Facebook page, and I caught it just before we came down to the studio. He was looking for the hex number for each of the new Americana colors. The hex number is not in the catalog or the PDF. So if you're looking for the hex, I can help you with that. The hex number refers to its digital representation. So if you need a hex number, Patrick, just send me an email list of the colors, and I will set you up with the hex numbers. There isn't a chart available, but I have a scanner that will give me that hex for you. So more than happy to help.
You got all the toys.
I got all the toys.
Been enjoying the Christmas in July videos? Anyone else been watching?
There's all kinds of them on the Artfully Connected. They've been really doing. I'm doing one next Thursday.
Next Thursday. I saw the pattern for that. That's
it's fun. It's just
fun.
It's hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa. We're doing. So
could always use new brushes.
Oh, who can't?
You don't have to go far for new brushes.
No, I just have to go into the next room. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Hello from Michigan.
Oh my goodness. Linda Salsini.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Learned something new. Not heard of the hex number before.
That's an interesting thing. When you're referring to hex, when in order to get your computer to show you the color that you want, you have to have a hex number for it. And essentially it just tells the computer what color it is. So I have a great little scanner that will process and assess colors and just pop onto the cap of the paint bottle, and it'll give me the hex.
Really confuse him. How about the other digital reference number known as RGBY?
Oh, yeah. That one's in reference to your printer. Yeah, and they all have different numbers.
Yeah.
So, but yes. I have a really great little toy called a Nix scanner, which is, we use it in trying to establish colors, and it'll give me all of that.
Four digital codes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me all 4 digital codes. So what color it's going to show on a monitor, what color it's going to show on the screen or on the in your print, and then the color that it's actual color. So if I was going to mix it, then it also gives me that. So it's a really great and very handy little tool to have. So I'm about ready to get started on this little guy. Or unless we have other questions.
I never win anything, but I consider these sessions a huge win. Right on.
That's nice. We
I
appreciate
always
that.
get so much info about painting, food, pups. Is there anything else essential in life? Food, dogs.
No, I think we're good.
No, we're good.
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot about this.
Oh. You might have to.
Yeah, I might have to do. Anyway.
She got a zombie bunny.
I got a zombie bunny. It's a little charm of a zombie bunny. I had to have it. Just had to.
Zombie bunny.
So, yeah, we have it's a running joke for Renee and I about the zombie bunny thing. And one day I was surfing on the net, and there was a company that makes charms for the Pandora bracelets. And I saw this, and I had to have it. It's a bunny with a skull. So yes, I have a great little zombie bunny. So
here's a good question.
What's that?
From Gail Wolseley. What are the surface dimensions?
That's a very good question.
You want this one?
Yeah, that would be nice. I believe it's an 8x12. I believe, but let me confirm. It's just listed as a 12-inch. Yep, it's 12 inches by 7.
12 by 7.
It's a 7x12.
7 by 12.
So it's a great little surface. I just think, Cupboard Distributing comes up with just the best little surfaces. I love them. And they're affordable, which is always nice. So, any other questions? What?
Jessica Killen got her phone stand.
Oh, excellent.
She's happy.
Good.
I love it, she says.
Good.
This
I'm
is
glad
the best
it
way to
arrived.
start a Saturday morning.
For us too.
Coffee.
Yeah, well,
That's
you.
That's the best way to start the morning. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Give me coffee.
Give them coffee.
What is the surface called?
This is, I believe it's 12-inch breadboard.
12-inch breadboard.
Yep.
All right. Are you ready to start?
IR.
Okay. I saw candy mold for sugar skulls online yesterday and thought of you.
I got a new pair of leggings. I got another pair of leggings.
She's not allowed on the internet no more.
You can find stuff on the internet.
Yep.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't want to find stuff on the internet.
Sometimes there's stuff that should never be on the internet.
Yeah, but it is.
It is, yes. All right. I'm ready. Did you flip the camera?
No.
Want to do that for me?
No coffee for me.
No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I swear he does that just to...
Are you going to sell the 3 Tombow marker set?
They are on the website, yes. They are up on the website. I love these.
That's when your phone starts dinging.
I love Yeah, I love these. These, you know what, for the price, these are fantastic. I'm always looking, I want decent quality and I want functionality and I don't want to have to pay through the nose for it.
So you have enough room to bring your palette in on...
I do.
So-
See that?
So people can see you mixing and doing
that
stuff.
tea is
with-
good. Yeah, I had a question from Julie Speaks. She wants to know about some of the undercoat colors for these new transparent colors. So as I said, I don't think that these are really a base coat in color because of that transparency. It's going to take you forever to get a nice fully opaque base when you're working with a color like this. And it was the Paradise Green that tipped me off. I loved the tone of this. It was just so pretty. Very lush looking green. Nice and vibrant, which is just, it's such a pretty color. And then when I tried to base coat something with it, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be here until Christmas trying to get this solid. So I grabbed a base color that I felt would work well with this. And then started working with it from there, and it worked beautifully. But honestly, you'll be there a month of Sundays trying to get a solid opaque color out of this because it's just extremely transparent. And it was the green that tipped me. Once I knew that that one was going to be, I kind of expected the rest of these to be very, very transparent. But you're going to love these colors. Here's that Paradise Green. It's just such a pretty green. And then Fuchsia Pop. I'm a little bit in love with this one, and I'm not a pink person, but I'm very love that pink. And then Decor really needed another purple in its paint line. It was almost like we have Diox purple. Diox is very, very dark, very, very rich. But somewhere along that line, we were missing one. And I think that this is it. This is that Welch's grape juice purple. Do you know what I mean? It's just that great, rich, transparent purple. And then this is the Tiger Lily. Look at that orange. Oh my goodness. And then I've always thought this was such a strange name for a paint. Blue raspberry. It's just a me thing. Don't mind me. Look at this blue. So pretty. But it honestly doesn't look all that opaque on the palette. But wait till you put it down. That's when you realize. And then strawberry. Interestingly enough, when you see the color on the top of the lid, it is just this lush, I don't know, just looks yummy red. But it has this fabulous undertone, this pinkish undertone. It's just, oh, so nice. So those are all of the transparent colors in this line. Now, for the undercoat, for these colors, the one that I used for this one is Sea Breeze, or that Paradise Green. And the reason I used it, one, opacity, and two, it's probably as close to that tone as I can get. Look at this. So this is Sea Breeze. So this is the look at that. So we have this nice nice mixture. So there's your undercoat color for your Sea Breeze, for the Paradise Green. I went with Bubblegum Pink for that Fuchsia Pop. Because one, it's quite opaque compared to some of the others. But it actually shows this pink off really, really nicely. for that blue or purple iris, I chose Lilac Meadow. I like the gray tone in this. And it really, that purple, it really makes this one pop really nicely.
A lot of people are asking why you don't squeeze the bottles.
'Cause it hurts my hands. Some of them, anyway. And I hate taking those plastic things off. It hurts my hands. So this is that tiger lily, and I use coral as the undercoat. Close enough. It's got enough of a white base that this color is really going to pop really nicely. Now, in the paint line this year, we got this beautiful blue. That blue raspberry. And the color that I used is actually in the new line as well. And it's this one, that crystal blue. So I put those two together, and I really liked how these two played up very nicely together. So that was the crystal blue. Now for the strawberry, I am going to go a little bit darker, because that red is extremely transparent.
Because she's already used most of it.
There's that. And then my base color for the strawberry, I used razzleberry. The razzleberry is far more opaque, and it's going to show off that color. If you find that it's too dark and you want it to look a little brighter, then I would probably look at perhaps something like royal fuchsia or carousel pink underneath that strawberry. That's what I would recommend for those transparent colors. So for your...
A lot of very pastel-y colors in there.
The ones on this side are, yes, because they have a higher white base. But yes, so you've got your paradise green is sea breeze. Your fuchsia pop is bubblegum pink. Your purple iris, I went with purple petal, I think it was. No, I probably got that wrong already. Lilac Meadow. Hello. Jeez. They're too close in tone. Lilac Meadow. For the tiger lily, I used coral. For the blue raspberry, I used the crystal blue. And for the strawberry, I used razzleberry. So that is your undercoat colors for all of those transparent colors. I tried to get as close as I could, but at the same time, you don't want to dull these colors out either. So you wanted to go at about one value lighter, which is what I tried to do to maintain it. I just went to the next closest color that I could find that was going to work for me. So there you go. So hopefully, Julie, that answers your question. It was a great question. It just needed a little bit of clarification. So hopefully that helps. Pretty colors. But they are extremely transparent. I like that in a paint myself. But I like glazing, so.
No, there wasn't a live before this. She just base coated the colors.
Oh, yeah. No, I just had to get prepped ahead of time. So.
Otherwise, we'd be here.
We'll be here until next week. Because I like to talk. That's why. No, so what I did for this piece, I just went ahead and I base coated a few things. I base coated my background with country red, and then I went around the outside edge with a little bit of soft black because I wanted a darker edge. And then once that was dry, I just put a wash of soft black over everything. So all over that red, and it brings it way down. So I don't have that in your face red, but it still gives me that nice warm tone. And then the base coating is as follows. So your little Bob here on the right hand side, he is base coated with that new red. This one is also a bit on the transparent side. Not as much as these, but a little bit. This is red spice. I really like this. This is a great color. I love the tone of this. I have 2 coats down. over top of this red. So I get this nice, almost burnt sienna type thing, or it's a very toasty color. It's very warm and very spicy. I really like this tone. So I've got 2 coats of that red spice on our cookie, our bob. The other...
Jessica Killerin, can we still base coat with warm white and gesso?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The one of the really great opaque colors, there was we had a color in the Decor lineup long time ago. I'm trying to remember if it was called desert sand or just sand. I think it was desert sand. Anyway, this one is very close to it. This is almondine. This is a new color in that lineup. It is very opaque. It's wonderful for base coating. And all of the cookies here are base coated with that, as well as the trim on the hat, the sleeves, and at the bottom of the robe is done with the almondine. Now we get to the fun stuff.
What is your favorite font type?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's a...
that one's... Right now, I'm very fond of Melanie. And there's Fontanately is another one that I really like. I'm a little obsessed with fonts.
Uh-oh. Edward Hensley is here.
Pixie sticks. Everybody in the group will understand what I'm talking about, right, Edward? He made a post yesterday about he didn't have ducks. They're not in a row. He has squirrels, and they're hepped up on pixie sticks. Then somebody suggested that should be his word of the day. So, pixie sticks, Edward, pixie sticks.
He's not going to make it to the end of the class.
He's not going to make it to the end of the day. I'll be screaming pixie sticks at him all afternoon. Poor man will have to pour him out back into his house. Yeah, Edward, it's nice to see. He gets me. Yeah. We'll be able to paint this project with the old colors. New ones won't be available in France for months. I suppose I haven't read anything about their availability yet. Edward, nope, it's too early for that. Patrick, let me see what I can do to help you out. I did not write this using some of the old colors, but that's not to say it couldn't be done. So, give me a little bit. Maybe I'll try to put a list together of other colors that you could use to paint this if you are not able to get hold of the new colors. I know that makes it difficult, but this is an easy piece. You could choose almost any color palette to do this with. So it'd be an easy one, but give me a little time and I'll put a list together for you. Patrick is one of those painters that is very active within the group. He's engaged all the time, and we just love Patrick, just like we love Edward
and Linda and Jessica
and Jessica and Sheila. We love everybody. And JL, JL stubbed my toe on this tiny little twig. I think it was a pixie stick. Aw, thank you, Patrick. He says I'm wonderful. Did you hear that? He thinks I'm
what? I didn't see
it. I'm wonderful.
I'm seeing the same chat you are. I don't see it anywhere.
It was in my imagination, I guess. Okay.
You're seeing things.
So
I'm gonna have to put you in a home.
Hey. Be nice. You know who feeds you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so base coat for this great little guy here is that red spice. For the cookies, the robe, the sleeves, the cuff, all of this is almondine, which is that wonderful buttery, creamy tan color. I love that one. That one's a really great color. For the cookie right here, the base coat for the icing on this one is bubblegum pink. That's this one right here. For this cookie in the middle here, this is another new color, and this is actually the color of the year for 2022. Still don't quite get that one, but...
What color is that?
This one is Perfect Perry. And it's a lovely shade of blue. It's, I know it kind of looks purple under some lights, but this is Perfect Perry. Look at that color. It's like a periwinkle blue, just amped up a little bit. It's actually quite a nice one. So this is Perfect Perry. So that is one of the new colors that we use to base coat our icing in here.
Apparently they had a cold front in Texas. It was only 100 yesterday.
Oh my goodness. Watch for hypothermia. Now the star cookie on this side, we're using two colors. We're using a little bit of a bubblegum pink, this pink right here. And the background color for this is the crystal blue, which is this one down here. And that's another one of the new colors, is that crystal. This one's quite pretty. I'm a little obsessed with this one too, because it's very in that same family as the Bahama blue. So
that's why
I'm liking it. So we have that one.
What's in the crock pot?
What's in the crock pot? Gumbo.
Oh yeah. You hear that, Linda?
I'm on new colors and he's
Gumbo.
already thinking of food. I get up late this morning.
And you made gumbo.
And I made gumbo. So it's in the slow cooker.
Mm.
Oh, and I had found some really great sausage for it. Lots of sausage. And some heavily smoked bacon in there and all the goodies.
Yum.
So yes, there is gumbo in the slow cooker. And then this last cookie on our far left here is the one we're going to use that Paradise Green on. And in hindsight, I wish I had used more of that Paradise Green because it's such a pretty color. But my base is that Seafoam that I used, or Sea Breeze, dip back here in for my base color. So we have bubblegum pink with a little bit of crystal blue, and then we have the crystal blue with a little bit of bubblegum pink, and then we have that cookie in the background there with the Sea Breeze for the base. Now the robe. Every once in a while, Decor puts out a green that I absolutely love, and you know how I feel about antique green? Well, here is lush green, and it is just, such a yummy green.
It almost looks like green gold.
Almost.
Oh, man, is that ever close?
It's one value darker, and it's more opaque than antique green.
Oh, wow.
And so all of these leaves, one coat. The robe, one coat. The coverage of this green is just fabulous.
Nice.
So I'm absolutely loving this lush green. It's very close to my all-time favorite, antique green. It's a little deeper and about one value out. So it's just one shade darker. It's just, hello, an awesome green. And then, of course, we have berries on the holly. Those all get base coated with a little bit of warm white, if you're wondering why we got polka dots all over the place. And that brings me to, I think I've covered all of the new colors with the exception of these four. I didn't use these four in this piece. I just couldn't figure out a way to properly use them or put them to use. But I did use this one. I used Portobello for his mustache and beard. So this is Portobello.
Portobello.
Mushroom.
Yeah,
Hello.
Got it. I'm on the ball.
I love this. It's such a great, it's a gray tone, very, very warm, has a nice earthy look to it. It dries beautifully. I just loved this color. It's just yummy. And so instead of using a cold gray for his beard, I decided to go with that Portobello. I just love for that. So we've used that. And then we have these three colors. I want to try using this as a highlight. It's very, a little on the transparent side. It's a very yellow-green. I'm not a huge fan of this type of green. However,
that's a green?
It's a green. However, I think that it has its place, and it might be, look at this. It just might be a great highlighting color for
that's a green?
Some greens, yeah. And it is a bit more opaque.
I think you're going to have to paint a lime now.
Yeah, it's just a pretty green, isn't it? So usually when I get a green like this, it makes it hard to find a place for it. But I have a feeling that this one's going to work quite well, especially with, and in conjunction with that darker green, with that lush green. So this one is quite pretty. It's a very contemporary color. You see this a lot in more modern punches of it in furniture and whatnot. It's a unique green. So I think there's a place for that one. I'm in love with this. This is Laurel. It is a green gray. It's a beautiful color.
Talking about colors.
Look at this. How pretty is that? It's a bit subdued. It's beautifully opaque. Covers really, really nicely. It has this great earthy tone to it, and it's a little on the cool side. So it's not a warm gray green. It's a cooler gray green. I could see painting succulents with this. I could see painting a lot of things with this color, and it's called Laurel. It's a really pretty tone. And then, just when I didn't think they could outdo it on the yellow, they outdid it on the yellow. I'm in love with this one. This is Sunset Gold. Look at that. I'm a huge fan of saffron.
It's a very creamy orange.
And it's warm and very sunny, and it's a nice... I'm going to be painting sunflowers with this puppy, let me tell you. I loved this tone. And it's surprisingly more opaque than most yellows. It actually covered quite well. It's about, I would say, semi-opaque, I guess.
I want an orange creamsicle now.
You want an orange creamsicle? Why is it the color reminds him of food? But yes.
Am I wrong?
No. No. This is a great yellow. So this one is just so pretty. So that is the 15 new colors for 2022. I've been really excited about playing with these because of, we wait so long from the time the catalog comes out till the time the paint is actually available. So
I have found that I get a lot of strange looks if I say a color is yummy.
Yeah, it is a yummy
to anyone other than fellow painters.
Yeah, non-painters look at you like, what?
The yummy color.
Are you okay?
I associate it with food.
And it's funny because we associate certain colors with certain foods.
Yeah. Chocolatey?
Chocolatey? Yeah, something that's chocolatey, buttery.
Licoricey?
Licoricey?
Licoricey.
I've never heard that expression, licoricey.
So
Licoricey.
No.
Creamy, buttery. We don't say it's whitey outside. It's just snowy.
Snowy.
It's snowing. Okay, so we're going to do a little
Does
bit
it
of...
remind him of food?
Not too much, let me tell you.
Not too much out there.
Yeah. My husband had a rather unpleasant experience with McDonald's this week.
It's been a long time since I've had McDonald's.
Well, I'm not a big fan. But I'm not a big fan of fast food. No. So, but my husband wanted a burger, whatever that new burger was that they were making.
The Grand Big Mac.
The Grand Big Mac. He wanted to try one anyway.
It's a double Whopper with Thousand Island dressing.
It's a double Whopper.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Just McDonald's version of the double Whopper with Thousand Island dressing. Go ahead, McDonald's. Tell me I'm wrong.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, there was nobody in the lineup ahead of him. So he pulls in, he places his order, he goes up to the next window and pays for it. And there's a huge lineup just out of the blue, ends up behind him. So they told him to pull ahead and wait in the waiting space that they have at the front. And then they forgot about him. So he sat there, and meanwhile cars are leaving and going through. All these people in this lineup have passed him, and he's still sitting there. It was, not a pleasant experience. And then to get home and the food is nah. Just made it worse. Okay, so we're going to get started with our cookies. Might as well do the sweet stuff first. I like doing the stuff that's in the background and then do the stuff that's in the foreground last. So we're going to start with these cookies.
The Grand Big Mac is the size of the Big Macs used to be. Really?
Once upon a time.
Oh, wow.
So I have a cookie in here. I'm not super crazy about base coat, so I'm going to quickly throw a little bit of bubblegum pink in here just to clean it up a little. There's a couple little thin spots I'm not thrilled with. Now, the shading color I'm using on this icing is called Fuchsia Pop, which is that oh so luscious looking pink. I've got a little strawberry here because I wanted to show you the difference. If you want to deepen and brighten some of the shading in these things, or if you find that you want it perhaps a more intense color, then go and grab yourself some of that strawberry.
I'm with Jessica Killerin on that one.
What's that?
Subway.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get fast food, I'd much rather have Subway than anything else.
Yeah, it's
But
my idea of
if
fast.
we're talking burgers, A&W.
Meh.
Meh?
Meh.
Meh?
I honestly don't get all that excited about hamburgers in general. So.
I'd rather eat homemade.
It's like pizza. It's just not. Yeah, whatever.
Homemade brownies and mac and cheese.
Yum. So, shading color on this pink icing is going to be this Fuchsia Pop. Such a lovely pink. And it's surprising how bright it is. Now, I'm going to put this in, but I'm going to come just shy of the edge of my icing where it goes onto the cookie. I don't want to have it right to the edge, but close. I'm off the... I love this color. That Fuchsia Pop is just so pretty. And I'm not taking it all the way across. I want to stop right about there because I need some space for a highlight in there. Now I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to repeat that because I'm going to sort of walk it in a little bit.
I can't see it.
What's that?
Can't see it.
What?
My favorite fast food, like 2 a.m. kind of fast food. Yeah. It would be Donairs and poutine. Like the most Canadian
Yeah.
you could possibly get.
Donairs and poutine, yeah.
Yeah, Donairs and poutine.
Well, maritime, because Donairs outside of the Maritimes are not that common.
Okay, shawarma and poutine.
Shawarma.
Even though it is different.
Yeah. So that little, I'm just giving this icing a little bit of elevation by doing this, is leaving that little space at the edge. It just helps elevate the icing a little bit. Gives it sort of a dome, believe it or not. And now I've got my color in, and I have to shade all of this candy that's in there. I'm using Fuchsia Pop. I'm quite enamored with this color. I'm using a little bit of Fuchsia Pop, and I'm going to put just a little float on the right side, and it's just a small one, and it's not even a neat and tidy one, like so. Just to the right of each one of those little, I'm calling them candies. I don't know what else to call them.
Philly cheesesteak.
Again with the food.
They're talking about food.
I'm making cookies.
No, you're not. You're painting cookies.
I'm painting cookies. Making cookies, painting cookies, whatever. So I like that little float of color to the right of the cookie. Just gives that a little bit of elevation too.
That sounds tasty. Take a Subway sandwich called Unwitches.
Unwitches?
Yeah. So rather than bread, they use the lettuce.
Yum.
So it's like a lettuce wrap.
Yeah.
I could be down with that.
I could, yeah, me too. So, for dry brushing in the center of these cookies, to get that highlight, this is what I'm using, is these. These are medium point blenders, IPC. These ones are from Dynasty. I love these brushes for this type of thing. So when we put our highlights in here, we're going to do it with these point blenders. Life is going to be so much simpler. And then I'm going to leave that one for the time being. I'm going to come over here to our blue cookie, our little star cookie. And we're going to pick up a little bit of that blue raspberry. And again, this is another color that I was rather surprised at how transparent it was. It's a very trendy color.
Okay, what's for dinner? Gumbo.
Gumbo. So the same thing that I did with the pink cookie, I'm going to do with the blue cookie. Only I'm going to do it with that blue raspberry. And again, I'm coming in from the edge just a little. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just going to leave a little space in there. And again, I'm leaving an open space at the top of the cookie for a highlight.
I haven't tried Jimmy John's.
What is it?
Jimmy John's.
Don't know what that
Apparently
is.
it's like Subway.
Oh yes, there's one in Lexington, Kentucky.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And yes, they do make great sandwiches.
Oh, do they?
Both hot and cold.
Hot and cold sandwiches. Mm.
What was the one I had there? It was one of their meatball subs. Oh my god, it was so good.
Dang it, I gotta get me some IPC point blenders. Yes, you do. Have that in your arsenal.
They're very handy. So I have my candies on there, and I'm going to use that same blue to put a shadow on the right side of the background of each one of those candies.
It's nothing like Subway. Okay. Sorry. I've never been to a Jimmy John's.
Me either. Well, I've never been to one, but we had them. They would deliver to
nice.
to the factory.
Cool.
Yep. So we had sandwiches. And it was like they're hot sandwiches.
Is that when you were filming? Or?
Yeah.
Out in Kentucky?
Down in Kentucky. Lexington's such a pretty place. So I've got just a little shadow on the right side on the background of each of those, just like we did with the little square candies that are on top of that cookie. And then we've got this cookie in the background here. Now, I'm not thrilled with that base coat either, so I just want to put in a little more of that sea breeze. Just, it wasn't quite opaque enough to suit me, I guess. There we go. Such a pretty color, sea breeze.
Hi from OKC.
Oklahoma City.
Already 96 degrees. That's the same temperature as the inside of your body. So you should be comfortable.
By rights, it should balance out, but no.
No.
So on that sea breeze, we're going to use that paradise green. This is just such a yummy green.
Wait, no, that's 2 degrees colder. It's 98.6.
I love this green. And again, I'm floating the color just like I did with the first two. I'm coming in from the edge just a little bit.
Edward says, I didn't mean it like that. Jimmy John's isn't trying to be healthy.
No.
Yeah.
Subway is good.
Depending on what you put on it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
If you're...
But what I like is that everything that you put on it is like fresh. That I appreciate.
Feels like 99.
Ew.
Ugh.
So, just right off the bat, we have one shading in, and look at our cookies already. So I'm going to grab this little fat rigger here. Now I want to put a fresh coat of bubblegum pink on my candies, just to clean them up and make them nice and bright.
Oh, man.
So I spent most of the week solving not computer issues, but we had problems with the website server. And there's nothing worse than when you know you have a problem with something and you have to wait for somebody else to fix it. That I find extremely frustrating.
It's the worst is when you know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But you can't fix it.
Exactly.
Because somebody else has to do it.
Yeah. And I found that was my week.
That drives me nuts.
So, finally got everything sorted out. And it was just, it was an update that messed with some other software, and it's very typical of this day and age. So, they finally got it all sorted out. Everything's working the way it's supposed to now, and that's a good thing.
Ooh. We got a Facebook message from Painting Crafty.
Hi, Crafty.
Hello, first time watching.
Oh, well, stick around. Enjoy.
You might win a prize.
Might win a prize. Don't forget to hit that share button. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit that too.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice to have you join us. Turn on your bell notifications so that you know when we post new stuff or whenever we go live. I was going to say something. I forgot what it was.
Something about the paint.
No, it was something about the website. Yeah, so everything is functioning now the way it's supposed to. So I spent a lot of time swearing at things this week.
That sounds about right for any sort of internet work.
Yeah. Anyway, so everything is functioning the way it should. We got tons of supplies in. That's what it was. I knew I was getting there. It just took me a while to get there. We've got some new swag coming.
Oh.
So
you got new buttons.
I got new buttons. So we've got some new buttons coming, and we've got new stickers coming.
We got stickers and buttons.
Stickers and buttons. So we've got new stuff coming. I'm really excited about it. Neatness doesn't count. Perfection is to be avoided at all costs.
Is now a button.
So
it might end up in your order.
It might. So
it might maybe.
Yep. And we've got mini stencils. Got new mini stencils coming this week. I have a huge stencil order coming. That was going to hurt the pocketbook, but. So we have new stencils coming, and what else do we have coming?
I don't know. I haven't been here.
I know. And we get Tombows stuff coming in. I got new pencils. The mechanical pencils are now back in stock. Thank heavens, because we finally got all of them. And we have all of the colors. All of the colors.
All of the colors? All of the colors.
So now I have them in lilac, which is this pretty purple color.
Wrong camera.
Sorry.
Have you been trying to show it to that camera?
No, I've been like, hello. Yeah, so we finally got all of the graph. I love these things. They're just fabulous. The monograph mechanical pencils. We got some more of those in. We got all of the mono erasers, the knock erasers. I love these things. And we were out of refills. We got a shipment of those in too. So we got those in. And I got the 3 marker set. These are fantastic. Plus we've got the individuals in the 01, the really fine one. So we got all of that. So the website is all stocked up. We're just waiting on the,
Did you get the extra large tags?
The extra large what?
Extra large
those
tags.
are coming. So we have extra large tags coming, the big jumbo tags.
Yeah.
We also have a new pattern going up for the tag that will go up this week. And that's assuming I can paint. I should be able to paint. I can paint.
Reno, Nevada?
Woohoo!
Ooh.
Yeah.
Warm.
Warm, yes. Is anybody from
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona? It's like, that's like
Hot.
I was in Phoenix in January for Creativation, and I thought that was fabulous. And then I had to go back for a hardware show 5 months later. It was like June, July in Phoenix. Oh my God. It was beautiful in January. It was just...
And everybody was walking around in hoodies and jackets. And
It was, well, it's minus 30 where we live, but down there it was like 19. It was rough.
oh, no.
Oh, no, it was terrible. Yeah. And then I go there in July and I stepped off the plane and I went, oh my God. Like, I went from being in an air-conditioned unit to being in an oven. It was, oh my Lord. And it gets hotter. It was already over 100 degrees and it gets hotter. It's like, I don't know how anybody can live there.
Ugly hot, apparently.
Oh, it was
It's
just...
ugly hot.
Oh, I thought, you know what? 105 was enough.
Oh, to answer Alice's question from
Okay.
Facebook, the mechanical pencils aren't colored lead.
No,
It's just regular
Just-
lead.
yeah. It's just that they have designer colors on the
Yeah.
barrel. So we have them in all of the colors because people like the colors.
Yeah. So you could use it for tracing, writing, drawing, whatever you want to use it for.
I love this. I use this for designing. This is just I've
Cat's
never been a
meow.
huge fan of mechanical pencils until now, and I love this one. The other thing I love is the Tombow pencil set, the 3. Those are really nice too. The professional drawing set. Those are great
yes.
too. So we have...
Oh, yeah, there we go. Linda Puckett Grass. Yes, it's very hot here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Sue Braun.
114 degrees.
Sue Braun, 120.
Blech,
Oh, dear Lord.
blech.
You're going to heaven, Sue, because you've been living in hell. Oh, my goodness. Timeless Cottage Gifts. I've lived in Phoenix for years. It can get up to 124 degrees in the summertime.
Ah, no.
Oh, my dear Lord.
And that's right next to Texas.
Ugh.
Brr.
Oh, too hot for me. I couldn't do it. I'm a Kentuckian. I don't do hot. Yes, it's so hot it hurts your skin. Yes, it's like opening the oven. 105 is a good day in Phoenix. Oh, goody.
No.
That's too hot for me. I can't deal
I'm
with
done.
that kind of heat.
I'm done. I don't want to hear any more about Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
We'll just call it hell.
You know what? I mean, somebody told me one time that they thought that hell would be a cold place as opposed to a hot place.
Makes sense.
I suppose so, but I have a feeling that if you've lived in a hot place, then hell will be a cold place. But if you've lived in a cold place, then hell would be a hot place.
What? What?
What did we miss?
No. That's not an excuse for hot.
I don't, Sheila, I don't do. I'm with you.
They say it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. Oh, please.
No.
Yeah.
It's like Winnipeggers saying it's a dry cold.
Cold, yeah.
It's minus 50. It's
Don't
cold.
care how dry it is at that point.
Cold.
Yeah. So the perfect Perry on that little cookie that our Gnome is holding, I'm going to shade that with a little bit of that purple iris. It really makes this appear more purple than blue when you put it on, but it's just such a great purple. That purple iris is... Now, you notice that I'm putting these blended bits off to this side. I wanted you to see this, because look how transparent these colors are. But yet they're still quite vibrant.
And you didn't thin those out at all, did
And
you?
this is just brushed out like I normally would. So, yeah, these colors are just yummy. And because they're so transparent, it makes them ideal for layering. So I can put one color on top And the more layers I put on, the deeper it gets. So it's just a yummy, yummy transparency. Works beautifully for our purposes, especially for shading, highlighting, and tinting. So his little nose up here is base coated with the same color that I used for the icing. So I'm going to use a little bit of the strawberry just to show you the difference. I'm going to shade his nose with strawberry. It's a little more intense. You can see that that color is quite a bit brighter.
I agree, Nancy. I wholeheartedly agree. At least in the cold, you could put more clothes on.
That's right.
And in the heat,
it's hard. There comes
you can
a
only
point
take so much off before it becomes illegal.
That is true. That is very true. And depending on where you live, that could only mean one layer.
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got all the shading in. I love this. Look at this tone here. That strawberry on that pink is really bright in comparison to that that fuchsia pop. And in this particular case, kind of works. We have a red-nosed gnome. He's been in the pixie sticks.
No. Alice, is there a reason you're not shading the cookie parts that are behind the sleeves of the gnome? Do you plan on highlighting the sleeves only?
No, I just still have a ways to go yet.
Yeah, just haven't gotten there yet.
Haven't gotten there yet. So we've got all of these little candies on here that we have to shade yet. So for this one, we're going to use a little bit of that blue. And I kind of wanted these cookies or these candies to be a little more diamond shaped. So I'm putting my float in sort of a little V at the base of that little candy with just a little bit of that raspberry blue. And then we'll come over to our pink, these little balls here. And we're going to use fuchsia pop. You could use the strawberry if you wanted to, but I'm using the fuchsia pop for that. Yeah. So I'm just putting a little float of that fuchsia pop at the bottom of those candies, like so. Just facing that that shadow that we put on the background. Just like that. So they start to take on a little more rounded look. I'm going to pull this up so you can see. So I have the blue shadow on the background to the lower right of the candy. And so the float for the shading on the candy is going to go on the same location, but on the candy itself. So that we form an orb, so to speak. And then for a highlight on those candies, we're going to use a little bit of warm white. I do love how these transparent colors work and really brighten up those pinks, those softer tones that we're using. So I've got a little bit of warm white in my brush. I'm going to put a highlight on the opposite side. I've got a little too much water in my brush. Just a little too much, I think. There we go. So highlight coming in from the edge of the candy just a little. I don't want it right on the edge. That little bit of highlight is going to make a big difference to our candy. There we go. If you find your highlight isn't quite bright enough, just do it again. So I've got a highlight on each one of my little candies. And we are going to use a little bit of a dip dot for the final highlight on them, but now come over to this little guy here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put that little highlight on the upper left of our candy. And it's just a tiny little float, just enough to give us a little pop. And I'm going to dry this. So I need to soften some things in this background here. So I'm taking this is a small point blender and a little bit of warm white on the tip, and I'm going to just scumble that until the brush is nearly dry. We just want a little bit on there. And we're going to dry brush in and around all of these candies with a little bit of warm white. I'll let it take off. There we go. So this little dry brush is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to soften some of those floats a little bit, which is what we want. But it is also going to give us a little bit of a value change in that icing. So I'm just going in between all of those candies.
Starting to plump up again, you.
Miss Sooters is with us. So just a little dry brush, a little bit of warm white. It just softens everything. Just gives this icing a nice little sort of a gloss. I'm going to do the same thing to the pink. Hi, Sooters. So here is that warm white, doing the same thing to the cookie. Now, when I dry brush that highlight, I keep in mind that I had a line here, that little space, and I try to maintain that space as I'm dry brushing so that it gives it a little bit of a highlight. And so it softens all of those floats and gives our cookie a little bit of a frosted look. And it softens everything. So don't worry about going over top of those candies. If you happen to go over them, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. So, and it's a very loose dry brush. You notice I am not worrying too much about being absolutely perfect. I just wanted to create a soft looking texture on there. And we're going to do the same thing to this cookie back here.
And Deb Antonik is
in the house.
Caffeinated. She can people.
She can people now? Okay, good. How about you? Are you in people mode today?
Me?
Yeah. It'll do.
Sure.
Okay.
I can people today.
He can peoples today. So we've got a nice dry brush on this cookie and a nice dry brush on this one and this little green one in the background. So let's worry about this little guy in the middle. I'm not going to be too excited about this one because we have a little bit of work to do on this guy. So I'm just putting a nice little dry brush in the center, coming out so that it just overlaps that shadow slightly. And then we're going to grab our shape maker. I need a shape maker. Now in the line drawing, he's got a single candy right in the middle. In the original, I think I made it too big. Personally, I think it took up too much of the cookie. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller this time. Right there. So that's what I like about a shape maker. I can make adjustments as I need to. So I'm going to take my chalk pencil. And I'm going to draw a nice little perfect circle in the middle. And then take a little bit of my purple, that purple iris. It's just a yummy, yummy purple. And we're going to put a shadow on the right side of that on the background, like so. So that I have a nice little shadow just to the right side of that circle that I've drawn. And then I'm going to base coat that circle with a little bit of warm white.
You said it was a 7x12?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Vicky, it is a 7x12 breadboard.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's fine.
Soot has gone on an adventure.
She's up in the rafters. So I've got a little base coat of warm white. I just wanted to put a candy pearl in the middle of this cookie. So I've just got a little bit of warm white in there.
Uh-oh.
What?
They want to see your eagle as a class.
Oh.
She's learning. She's learning too. I don't think she'd want to teach
No,
it.
I don't know. It's been a very long time since I've done anything like this. So I've got a coat of warm white on there. And now I usually shade my whites with Bahama blue because that's my go-to color. But I'm going to use this crystal blue this time around. This new color is just, it's lovely. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with these ones over here. I'm going to put my float just in from the edge. Got a little too much water, not enough color here. Just in from the edge a little bit. Nice.
Virginia Hedges asks, I need a good chalk pencil. What is the name of the one you use?
Mine is, this one is actually a seamstress's. It's from Bohine in France.
To the right.
To the right. I keep forgetting. I'm not sitting centered on the camera, that's why.
That explains why the piece keeps moving off to the left.
Yes, does. This is Bohine. This one is a dressmaker's pencil. I love this one. I got this one, believe it or not, at Cupboard Distributing. It was fantastic, worth every penny. The other one that I have, if I can find it, is this one. This is from Soline. And this one also has a white chalk pencil in it, but it also has a graphite pencil and a stylus. So this one has some options. And I got this one from Creative Arts Lifestyle. It has this one. So either one will work. I really like this one for this type of thing here because it works just beautifully. This one, I do like the ability to have that graphite pencil as well as the stylus is handy as well. So either one of these, I would recommend either one of them. But the Bohine is a dressmaker's pencil, and I got it from Cupboard Distributing at cdwood.com.
And Linda Sprouse. Sadly missed the last 12 weeks of the members posting since I've spent so much time at the nursing home.
Yeah.
Are you still doing a demo for members? And if so, what night is it? It's this month, I believe. It's in the calendar.
Yep.
And
It is the 26th.
26th.
Yes.
It's the last Tuesday of every month.
Yeah. So it is the 26th. 26th.
So if you're still a member, you have access to all the previous ones too.
Yeah.
So
The videos are still up and will remain up.
There's calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 26th.
So we need to start making these cookies jump. We got the icing almost there. We need a few little highlights and whatnot, but we'll come to that. I want to separate these. Now, someone had asked about whether or not I was going to shade behind them. And yeah, I am. So they haven't come up with a color to replace my asphaltum, so asphaltum it is. So I'm going to use a little bit of asphaltum to age this cookie. Going to give it that golden baked look. And I blend out this color very well because I don't want it to be too strong, but we need to elevate our frosting. So we're going to have to put a little bit of a shadow in.
I can't remember your Instagram now.
Tracy.Morrow. So up against the icing with a little float of that asphaltum, just to give it a little more elevation. And it gives the cookie kind of a toasted look, a baked golden brown look.
Sean sent me that.
Of course he did.
If you're Canadian, you know.
Uh-huh. So I've got that float in place. I'm going to grab my... Well, maybe I'm not going to grab it. I don't know where it went. Ah. I have a nice little IPC deerfoot there. Just going to soften that float. Was got a little out of hand. So that little shadow that you put in here helps elevate that icing. Just makes it stand up a little bit. But when you're doing it, make sure that you... There we go. So now I have a nice crisp looking cookie. And then I'm going to take my asphaltum on a nice angled brush and I'm going to float right up against our gnome and right up against his robe. And I've got one float in. And this sets this cookie back a bit. I'm going to dry it real quick and then I'm going to do it again. Because I want it to go back nicely. There we are. There. So we have one cookie set back from our little gnome.
So Tracy.Moreau on Instagram. Go follow her.
Everything that I post on Facebook goes to my Instagram anyway, so. And then I'm going to separate my cookie here as well. Now, the edges of those cookies right here, that dark side that you see on these cookies here, these are all base coated with asphaltum. So it's just a liner brush or a rigger to fill in those little spaces on the edge of the cookie. That's all that is. And once you've done that, you really don't have to do anything else. So, which brings me over to our little star-shaped cookie over here. We're going to separate that as well. And I'm using the same color. So there, I've got my first float in to set it back. And then I'm going to shade underneath my cookie again, just like I did with the other one, right up against the edge of the icing.
Yay, the day is complete. Asphaltum has arrived.
Well, if they ever stopped making asphaltum, I'd have to find another color to do this with. And I could. I don't worry about that stuff. There's always something else you can use.
Hey, Sight. You're back from your trip in the rafters? Time for a nap? All my paint piles would be dry by now?
Oh no. I'm notorious for big puddles of paint because I don't do those little micro dot things. That drives me bananas. Microdots and I don't get along. So that little bit of asphaltum in there just gives you a little shading, and it helps separate the various elements without killing all of that color. I don't want to kill the color. I just want to separate elements. That's one of the reasons I like asphaltum. It's sort of a toning. It helps tone things a little. There we go. There. So now my cookies are all separated. So we need to put a little bit of a highlight on them. But before I do that, this is that almondine, which is another one of those new colors. It's almost as if it's halfway between buttermilk and antique white. Halfway between. It's just a nice tone. Really nice creamy color. So I'm just going to quickly put another coat of almondine on my cookie. I'm not thrilled with the cookie. Now, ordinarily, if I were painting this from start to finish, I generally like to base coat everything first so that I can just sit down and figure things out as I go. Sometimes I end up having to change my base color because I'm not happy with it, or it didn't give me what I was looking for, or I just made a wrong choice, whatever the reason. And then I will work from the background forward. So I usually start with the things that are furthest away. So in this case, doing that background is just the red. I would do all of that first. Then I would do anything that's towards the back or an element that is furthest away from the viewer.
Now, this is just a question that is begging for a self-promotion.
Oh. Okay.
Do you have some ideas for ornaments? I bet you do.
I have oodles, yes.
And I bet there's some on the free download section of your website.
You know what? There's not only is there some on the download section of the website, but I posted a new printable there yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So go to tracymoreau.net.
There's a phone stand in that one.
There you go.
So, yeah, I had some fun with that. I was just sitting there playing with ideas for a variety of things, and this kind of one thing led to another. So I put a new printable up yesterday. It's been up in the members download most of the week.
Oh, right.
But I added it to the free downloads. I like my members to get things first.
Of course.
They deserve a little spoiling. They're awesome.
But yeah, if you're looking for ideas for ornaments, she's got a bunch.
Yep.
Either in the free download section of her website, or there's some hidden away in patterns.
Yeah, there is. I put a lot of little freebies and ornament ideas into the patterns, just because they were part of the design process. So we need a highlight on our cookies. So I'm going to take a float of warm white, and where this shading stops, I'm going to start with a little highlight. I'm going to do the same thing on this cookie. And again, this one comes in from the edge just slightly. Just like that. It's a little bit of warm white. And then you're going to take your liner or your favorite rigger, whatever it is that you use, and you're going to add a nice bright stroke of warm white. And all this does is it makes it look shiny. I could sit and watch those cookie baking and cookie decorating videos for hours on end. Some of those the people that decorate cookies and whatnot, they're just freaking amazing. Some of the stuff they create is crazy.
I would have thought to use the same blues and pinks for shading the icing behind the gnome's sleeve. Is there a thought as to why you wouldn't, other than the fact you like asphaltum?
I tend to for me to use the same color, it would mean layer, 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 and it would just be the same color, but it's not all the same colors that are back there. I've got pinks and blues here. So I kind of use asphaltum to unify all of those colors, bring them all together so that there's one constant throughout. I used it as my shading color on the cookie, and I use it back here to separate things. It just changes the tone, not the value of the color. I tend not to use the color of the cookie when I'm shading. I tend to go to another color altogether. Just a design choice. It's also what gives what a lot of I do. It gives a lot of my designs the look that I get. Can't get it any other way. I keep forgetting about this little cookie. Oh, all the other cookies are done, but this one gets ignored.
You should make it look like there's crumbs in his beard.
I was doing well to get it to look like a cookie instead of a steering wheel, because every time I tried to make him look like a cookie, it came out looking like a steering wheel. I just thought, oh, okay, that's why we're going with the...
Gnomes shouldn't drink and drive.
No, gnomes shouldn't drink and drive. Nobody should. Sorry.
That was bad.
I know.
That was horrible.
I blame your father.
Yeah. Dad jokes.
Dad jokes. Chuckisms.
Chuckisms. What was it? 2 birds in the hand is worth...
Oh, I don't know.
A rock in the bush?
Yeah. So I'm highlighting all of these little candies with just a dot of warm white. You can use titanium white, whatever you have on hand. And I'm doing the same thing to this one. Just a little dot. So there we have highlights on our candies. I did the same thing to this little guy, the one in the middle. So we have cookie. We have struck cookie. So we still have one cookie over here that needs highlighting and shading. And that's our Bob. I left him for last for a reason. So I have loaded my brush with a little bit of almondine. And I grab there's my deer foot. There it is. So he gets a little highlight right here. This is almondine. It's a little bright. Don't panic. And I'm going to, while it's still wet, I'm going to use my deer foot to blend that out. So don't panic if it looks a little bright. It won't for long.
Bob!
Yes, we needed to have a Bob. There's a reason why this guy is in here.
And for those who are new, Bob is a creepy cookie that she accidentally designed and has now become
a mascot of sorts. I was working on a piece, and yeah, he's right here. I was working on a piece, and I put a gingerbread cookie on it, and I painted instead of painting them black, don't ask me why, I have no idea. I painted all of his buttons and his eyes white. And he was just creepy, like just creepy. So we ended up calling him the zombie cookie for the longest time. And then over time, he just became Bob. So this is Bob. But he's kind of creepy looking with those white eyes. So he's Bob. Ooh.
He frequents the lives and the videos.
Yeah, he's Bob.
He's Bob. Bob is part of the family.
Bob is part of the family, yeah. So I've got, where did my dry brush go? There it is. I've got my little point blender. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that almondine. And just like the white, I'm going to
That's
dry
Bob's
brush
cousin.
my cookie.
That's Bob's cousin.
That's Bob's cousin. What's his cousin's name?
Paul.
Paul?
Robert.
Okay.
Also Bob.
Also a Bob. Yeah. So I'm just dry brushing a little bit of that almondine over top of that. I love that red. This one here. That red spice. Really pretty color. So just to keep him sort of frosted looking and soft, so that he matches all the other cookies. Little dry brush. And so now we have to make this little guy pop. So we got to get in there with a float of asphaltum. And not nearly enough color on my brush. So I'm going to put a float on the right side on the cookie. Little float of asphaltum. Halfway to halfway. So from the top around and down to the bottom. We're going to do that on all of these cookies. It's just a cast shadow. You know, the way the light's hitting it.
This is Bob and my other brother Bob.
Oh my God.
That was JL.
So we've got a shadow on the right side on the cookie for the around the eyes. We're going to do the same thing for the icing on his sleeve right here. Little shadow. And as I said, it's a cast shadow, so the light source is going this way, so the shadows are going to fall.
What are the names popping up in the left-hand corner on my screen? Those are people who are liking and sharing the video.
Yep.
And those names get put into
The Wheel of Names.
the Wheel of Names. And the Wheel of Names wins you prizes.
Mm-hmm.
And this weekend, it's encaustic brushes.
Yep. We have 4 of them, 4 brush sets.
4 brush sets. So 4 people are walking away with, well, not walking away.
They'll find them in their mailbox.
They'll find them in their mailbox.
Yep. So I'm putting a highlight on the left side of each one of those eyeballs. And I'm coming in again from the edge. All that does is imply that it is spherical as opposed to just being round. So it enhances that look that it's spherical. So it's just a little C-stroke float of warm white. I thinned it out quite heavily. I didn't want this to be too bright, so we have a nice little highlight. And then we're going to put a final highlight.
They may take a while to pop up. It's not the fastest process in the world.
What's that?
Oh, the names.
Oh. So, I've got his eyeballs done and his buttons done. I'm just going to put another coat of warm white on those, on the frosting. It just wasn't quite bright enough. And I like overstroking, so there we go.
Do you people try to spray water on your puddles to avoid them drying out too early?
Yeah, I keep a little pish-pish.
She paints too quick for her paint to dry.
And I use a lot of paint. I make no bones about it. I use a lot of paint. So I'm just going to put a final highlight on my icing here. Got a nice little dot there. I've got a little bit of, pardon me. Good heavens.
You got your tea in front of you.
I do. So our next thing to focus on is this little guy in the middle, our Gnome. I think he's fun, but he's very easy to paint.
That was a sympathetic.
Was it? Okay, you had a scratch too?
Yeah.
So, this little guy in here, he's a very easy paint. This was... Somebody commented the other day when I posted this that she wondered why I used his hat the way I did. You'll notice that the pom-pom sort of takes the place of the dot over the eye in the middle.
Yeah.
And then the width of this sort of implies that there's another O in behind it. So it was just a fun way to incorporate his hat without having to paint over it or move something out of the way. I just thought it was a fun way to incorporate it. So if you're wondering...
There we go. Sorry
Okay.
about that. We're
Lost
back.
us for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of his robes, his hat, whatnot, gets the same treatment. So everything gets shaded with a little bit of asphaltum. If you've never painted with me before, I use asphaltum a lot, as most of them. Anybody in this room will tell you I use asphaltum a lot. It is my go-to everything color.
She do.
So I'm just using it to shade the inside of his sleeves. I'm shading over the nose, behind his mustache.
Good morning, everyone watching from a provincial ball game. It's a weird
Is
mix.
that Lori Fife?
No, that's Denise Van Newkirk.
Oh. So I'm not really worrying about whether or not these floats are utterly perfect because, to be honest, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put nice dark float down that side. And again on this side. I'm going to turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to shade underneath the beard.
The bird?
The beard.
The bird?
Like so. These are not neat and tidy floats. They are meant to create a little bit of texture and interest. So if they're not absolutely spot on, don't worry about it. They don't have to be. And then our little guy down here, I got a shade around the edge of the cookie and along the bottom of the sleeve here.
Okay, I got some names. I'm just going through them, make sure I don't have any doubles. Oh, Denise, you're trying to cheat.
Good thing asphaltum is never the word of the day. We would have to send emergency services to Edward.
Poor Edward.
Poor Edward.
He's fine.
Yeah. And if he's not, he will be.
Edward, blink twice if you need help.
Oh, goodness. He has, Edward is very good. He puts up with our ribbing very well.
Okay.
I put bottle caps on my paint puddles to keep them from drying up.
It's one way of doing it.
So we have a beard here to contend with. I do like the beard. And I want to do the beard before I do all of the shading in and around him. I'm using a 1/4-inch rake for this, which is this one here. This is a Dynasty Black Gold 1/4-inch rake. Mine is a chisel. A filbert rake would probably even be better, but I'm using this flat one.
Mary Galliotto, your name's in here twice. You're cheating.
Mary Galliotto won for the first time last week.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. She got her goodies already.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, everybody was posting this week that they got their Happy Mail, which is nice. I love seeing that. And then I don't worry about whether or not they get it. So I have a base color of that Portobello on this little guy, and I'm just putting in some nice light strokes of thinned warm white using that rake.
Blink, blink. I think we need to send him help. I can only put your name in once. I copy and paste from a list. If the list has your name in there more than once, that means you did something more than once.
Yep.
Whether you liked it on YouTube and Facebook.
Yep. We appreciate all the likes.
Yeah, we do. We got 111 on YouTube.
Nice.
So
I've put, you'd have a look at this. We're not talking neat and tidy. It's just creating a little bit of texture in there.
Say what?
It can be squiggly. I'm like Edward Hensley. I find a good drink while painting helps loosen me up.
Renee, my husband was so excited to get a new book in the mail. It was called Facta Non Verba, A History of the Fort Garry Horse. And found your name.
Wow.
Right
Cool.
on. Cool.
Facta Non Verba, I bet you that's Gord Crossley's book.
Yes, I think it is. And the funny thing is, I was working at the art gallery, and guess who I bumped into?
Gord Crossley.
Gord Crossley. My former RSM. Now, I think he's retired, though.
Yes, he is.
Yes. But then he went to Major Crossley.
Yeah. So all those little areas, I don't worry too much because these are going to be heavily shaded, these little spots underneath his mustache. So I just want to make sure that there's a little of that color in there so it doesn't look flat and disconnected. So I'm just putting a little bit in just to create a little of that texture. It doesn't have to be a lot because you're going to shade in there anyway and most of it will be hidden, but some of it should be there. So I'm going to do his mustache next, which is just little flips like so. I do like the little flips just to create that texture. And don't worry, take it down so that it overlaps those little spaces there. It's fine. We're just building texture at this point, not perfection. I love working with this stuff. Little gnomes and elves and Christmassy things. So next Saturday's class, again, we're doing the Christmas theme one more time. So next Saturday's is the 23rd. We are going to be doing a Christmas theme again. And we're going to be doing some ornaments. I've had quite a few people ask me to do an ornament, so an ornament it is. So once I get the finished typing up the pattern, I will post it. I don't know if you know this, but on the front page of my website, when you go to the home site page, depending on what device you're on, whether it's a computer or whether it's a tablet or phone, when you go to the home page on my website, there is, if you scroll down or scroll up, I don't know, but just scroll a little bit, usually right underneath the header where we have, the shop, big old pink shop button there on the right hand side. If you just go down a little bit, it'll show you what we are painting the following week, and the links to patterns and whatnot are already in there. So we have that right on the home page just to make life a little bit easier. So I'm using just one more layer of warm white just so that it's a little brighter in places, and these are just short little strokes. I'm not doing anything fancy. I just want to sort of fill in and create a little more texture.
So are we going to do Halloween next month?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're actually going to do fall next month.
Fall next month.
Yes.
But there's got to be something Halloween.
Of course there will.
Yes.
But it's a fall theme.
Yes.
So almost everything for the month of August is going to be autumnal in nature. So I think I'm rather happy with this little guy. I do want to grab my liner brush though. Where is my good script? There it is. Okay, I wanted my 10-aught. I'm going to take a little bit of warm white and thin it out. I want to do this with my liner. I want to just overstroke in a few places. Wherever I find that it's not as pretty as I would like it, I just like take a little bit of warm white. And it's usually at the edges of things where I want, this to look a little bushier. So I just pull a few strokes in just with my liner to clean it up. It just makes for a nicer finish. And things don't look like, well, I couldn't quite get in there, so it'll just have to do. I like to do it with my brush. So he has a beard. I want it to stay gray. So I'm going to take my angled brush and a little bit of that sapphire blue, or not sapphire. Why do I want to call this sapphire? Raspberry blue or blue raspberry. Move my liner brush. This is what I'm going to shade underneath this mustache with. And under his lip. Just like that. And then underneath this cookie, it's just a weak float of that blue. I know, why blue? It's because I shade whites with blue. I have it. I've got a hair right there.
It was in the beard. It was all good.
It was, yeah, but it wasn't the right color. And then we're going to separate his mustache with a little float too. Right there and underneath the nose. Just like that. And then I'm going to dry this. And then I'm going to tone this with a little bit of asphaltum. So I've got my blue in. I'm going to heavily thin some asphaltum. And then I'm going to shade over top of that. I heavily thin to the point of non-existence. There we go. So I'm just going to deepen the shadows under his mustache. And then that same color is going to come into the bite out of the cookie so that it sets that mustache back, sets him back and pushes the cookie forward. So I'm going to do the same thing underneath the cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. And then wherever that blue was, I'm going to put a float of asphaltum. And now I've heavily thinned it. There we go. Et voila. We have a mustache. Now, there is a lip. There's a little lower lip right there, just underneath his mustache. And it's a little bit of the same base color that we used for the nose. So his lower lip is just a little stroke of bubblegum pink. And then I used the same pink for the nose. We shaded the base of the nose with a little bit of that strawberry. I'm going to use a little bit of that strawberry to shade the lip. Right here, just under the mustache. It just gives everything a nice little deepness. And then I have to highlight his nose. We need to put a nice little highlight on his nose, and I'm using a little bit of thin warm white, just like we did with the candy. We're going point to point. So if the shadow comes up to a certain point, that highlight is going to be there as well. So They have to connect. And then we need to put nice little bright highlight on his nose to make it look shiny. And I'm just using a little, tiny little comma stroke of warm white. And now we're ready to start working on his robe. So,
to spin the wheel first?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
You're gonna spin the wheel. Do do do. Spin time.
For Hensley, Tracy has a bat stencil. Yes, I do.
There's the wheel. Oh, 184 names of you.
Wow, 184.
There's a lot of names.
It's a good day.
It's a great day. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Thank you, Martha. So, encaustic brush is going to...
Push the cookie forward. I do that too often, I think. Don't we all? Push the cookies. Who's the first one?
Who's the first? Who's the first? Who's
I can't
the
even
first?
read that wheel.
There's a bunch of names on it. That's why.
There's a lot of names on it.
So we got Charlotte Downey.
Yay, Charlotte. Charlotte's in Ontario, I believe. I decided, oh my God, Robin, that's too funny. She's getting her family gas cards for Christmas. It's a pretty expensive gift.
All right. Charlotte Downey's the first winner.
Gonna do another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Boom. Sylvie Miller.
Nice.
We'll do a third and save one for last.
Yep.
Just in case somebody decides to do what they did last week. The generous people of our community.
You know what? We have, especially within the membership group, they're just incredible. They're a great bunch of gals and guys. We have two great
Guys and gals.
Guys and gals.
All right. Number 3. And you're winning encaustic brush sets.
Yep. And we got one more that we're going to keep towards for the end of the class. So we're making actually tremendous headway on this. So we're
Tony Angel? Angel?
Angel.
Tony Angel?
Tony Angel.
Angle? Tony Angle?
Tony Angel.
I know. Just
You're such a
put the L and the E in the wrong place and you got two different words.
I'm in love with our new green. I love
Lush green?
that lush green. I'm in love with it.
Looks like a great shading color.
It would be, but it's also a great base color. So lush green is what I used for his robe. It's such a great green. It's quite opaque, so it covers really, really well.
And switching cameras. Wrong way. I pressed the wrong button. There
Did
we
you?
go. You're good to go.
Am I? Oh, good.
And I'll keep adding names to this wheel. Keep adding them.
You keep sharing, and we're going to keep adding.
Yep.
So I'm using a little bit of plantation pine to shade this robe. It's my go-to dark green. If you don't have plantation pine, don't be afraid to use a black green or a black forest green. As long as you've got a nice deep, dark green value to shade this lush green with, you're laughing. So I'm just floating underneath his beard and under the arm here with that green. I love this color. It's just beautiful. And across the top. And I want to put a nice little shadow along the bottom of the sleeve right here. And where the sleeve joins that cuff. So I'm going to have a spot about halfway down the arm and on the shoulder that I can use to highlight with. So there we go. And this one is going to be very straightforward.
Patrick, oh my, the robe was green all this time and I thought it was red. It's the camera playing tricks on you.
It could be, yeah. No, it's just I used that dark green. Now, I had a little bit of fun playing with these new colors because I wanted to see how these would work. Now, I've got a little bit of that Sprout green. It's called Sprout. It is such a, almost a chartreuse. Chartreuse. It's almost a chartreuse. It's very pretty green. It's a high yellow content. So I'm going to blend this out quite well, and I'm going to bring a little of that to the top of the sleeve. Quite nice. Quite nice. But I'm thinking a dry brush might be better than a float. It's quite a nice green, surprisingly. So if I were to take a little of that Sprout, I'm going to put it on a dry brush. Ooh, now I got to switch brushes because I just got red paint in this one. I'll have to switch to another blender. I have a bunch of point blenders here, so I'm pretty sure I can find another one. Oh, there's one. Okay. So I've got a point blender. I think that was the signal for me to change my palette because I'm running out of space. So I've loaded it up with that Sprout green, or that Sprout as they call it. Blended it well on my palette so it's nice and dry. And we'll see. Oh yeah, really nice. It's a nice soft. I like it. Quite a nice green. Now, I had used a matcha green in the instructions, mainly because I didn't take the time to really play with it, and matcha tends to be my go-to. So that's with that Sprout. Really a nice highlight. Gives us a nice punch of that lighter value that we want. It also gives us a nice soft highlight, so it's not an in-your-face color. And I like that I can layer it. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Great color. So that Sprout makes a really nice highlight color for that lush green. Now, I'm dry brushing. It worked fine for a float as well. But, yep, very pretty. I do like the dry brush better, though. It's just because it's fabric, it gives it a nice soft, almost bushy look, which I really like. So I'm going to clean out this brush, and we're going to put some highlights onto our robes and our sleeves. Super easy. I'm just using a little bit of warm white. I take some of that icky color out of my brush. There we go. A little too much color. So I'm going to just dry brush, a little highlight onto that upper edge of my hat and trim. Just like so. I like the dry brush. It just gives it a nice softness. And I'm doing the same thing to the top of the sleeves. And into the center part of this robe here. Because we're not technically highlighting per se. We're just giving it a little extra oomph. I do like the dry brush. And it actually softens a bunch of things. So if anything looks a little harsh or a little rough, that little dry brush does wonders for softening it, especially floats. You get some floats that aren't real pretty, whatever. A nice little dry brush will soften things nicely. And you can be aggressive with it if you want to. If you want a heavier highlight up there, don't dry the brush quite so much and just pop some color in. And I'm a fan. I like it. It's one of the reasons I like these point blenders. You can do some fun things with them. That one was not quite dry enough, but it's okay. And then we're going to do the same thing to his mittens. We're just going to pop a little highlight on the top of his mittens, just like so. So we get a nice little highlight. Time to rinse out my brush here. So we have Mustache done. We have our little cookie done. We have our sleeves done. We have the highlights put in. And so now we got to come up to our hat. Now I've got a couple of things to do. I want to put a firmer base coat in this piece up here, the pom-pom on the top of his hat. Wasn't quite opaque enough. Now I put down a little bit of warm white on these berries so that we can use a little bit of country red. To base coat our berries. But before I do that, I need to clear away my palette because it's just too much paint on there. It's a little messed up. Just clear my palette. So I got a little bit of country red. Oops, that's not country red, that's cinnamon drop. So a little bit of country red. Now this background is country red. So if I were to put country red on top of country red, it's not going to show up, especially because we've got sort of a darker value added to it. So I put down a base of warm white for two reasons. One, it helps make this red brighter than the background. And I don't have to fight against the background to get a good base coat. And I love that that red sort of jumps off of that background because that white is keeping it nice and bright. And it's just a single coat of warm white. And it's just the easiest way to keep the vibrancy of that red. And it gives us a nice pretty red. Now I wanted this hat to have that country red. And it seemed silly to base coat it all country red only to have it end up looking just like the background anyway. So I thought, well, let's just work with the background as it is. And then we will do something towards the end to make it pop forward. So the color that I'm going to use is this lush green. It's just, oh, yummy. I'm a fan. I love my antique green. And so for them to come out with a green that's just a little bit more opaque than the antique green, and then still have that tone, that sort of vintage green tone, which is part of the reason I love this color so much. I love that old world look. I think that's what appeals to me. And look at how nicely that color covers. It's just beautiful. I love this green. Okay, so I've got great coverage for that green. So I'm going to dry this real quick. Now I have holly leaves up here as well. I did the same thing. So we have great coverage. I love how that covers. I'm so impressed. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this sprout. I cannot get over this green. It's just, whoa. And I need a little bit of plantation pine. There we go. I'm just looking at they're having great conversation about color blindness. Mm-hmm. So on these leaves, I'm going to shade down the center vein with plantation pine. And I usually shade the base of my leaf first, like so. I like to have the base of my leaf done. I find that by doing this, it just gives you sort of a leg up on the shape of the leaf and making that leaf look like the real deal. So I put my shadow at the base of the leaf where it joins the stem. And I follow the shape of the bottom of the leaf. So if the bottom of the leaf is a nice sharp, like a U shape, then follow the U shape. If it's diamond shape, follow the diamond shape. Because you will find by putting that shadow in, I'm going to dry this real quick. So it's already showing you where the curve of that is. So I'm going to shade down the center vein and make sure that I follow the shape of the leaf. So even those those tiny little leaflets, the little ones, they get the same treatment. And I think I messed one up. But no, I don't think it. I know it. I messed one up, so I gotta fix it. So easy to fix. I'll just go back in with a little of the base color. I'm going to dry it. Base of the leaf, put that float in. And I better dry that. There. That's better. Every once in a while. So I'm going to use that same highlight color we used on that robe, that sprout. And I'm going to load the brush up. And this is going to be my highlight color. So on those points and opposite that shadow down the center vein, I did not properly load my brush, so I'm not getting a very nice float, but there we go. That's better. I didn't quite have my color blended out well enough, so I wasn't getting a nice float. Such a pretty green. So now that I have my brush properly loaded, let's fix that float. There we go. That's much better. So I love how that looks. So now that I have that highlight in place, good gravy, Marie.
Yeah, right.
That brush was rough.
Oh. how many new colors are there, and when did these new colors come out?
They were actually had started shipping about 3 weeks ago, and there are 15 new colors, 6 of which are fully transparent, and the rest are either opaque or semi-opaque. So now that I've got got my highlight in, I'm going to go back in and clean up my highlight, or clean up my shadow, sorry. And that is just simply deepening them. That's all it is. I do love this color. So pretty. So now I have a really nice highlight. I love that color. So let's come down to these berries. Now, you can use a lamp black to base coat those, or to shade those berries. I very rarely use black to shade red, not by itself. It's got to be either a soft black, or take a little of your base color and mix it with the black, because otherwise it's too harsh. So I've got a little bit of lamp black on my brush, and I'm blending it out as if to float. But then before I do, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that base color, which is that country red. And I'm going to blend those two colors together so that I get a very dark red. And then I'm going to come over to my berries, and I'm going to use that, thin it out a little bit. I'm going to use that to shade these berries. And again, same process that I did on those candies. I come short of the edge just a little. So it's just, a tiny thread of a line. Like so. And then we're going to highlight those berries on the opposite side with a little bit of warm white. Pardon me. So the highlight on those berries is a little bit of warm white. Blend it out really well. You don't want it full strength. It'll be too harsh. We want it quite transparent. And that highlight goes in the same fashion that we did on the others. Come short of the edge so that those two things meet up. And all that really does is just help you imply that these are spherical as opposed to being just round. And then to finish out those berries, you're going to take your liner and a dot of warm white. I like that bright highlight on berries, just gives them that shiny look. So now we have nice bright berries. And then we're going to take our extra long detail liner. Now I used that sprout for my highlight color. I'm going to thin it out a little bit with a little bit of glaze or water, either one. And I want to see how this will work. Oh, I love it already. So I take that extra long detail liner and I just outline my leaves. Like so. And I stroke in those little vines and tendrils with this as well.
I just read an interesting fact about the Fort Garry horse.
What's that?
It is one of 2 regiments in Canada that do not have a crown on their cap badge. Their crest or insignia.
Yeah. So that little outline that you put on this, it helps make these a little sharper, I think. I like when I see holly leaves that they have points, because when you see the real holly, it has points. And it's kind of prickly looking, but it's very pretty. So there's my liner brush. I love doing this to my leaves. Now, I use this outline technique for a lot of leaves. Some leaves it's squiggly, and other times it's a bit more crisp. JL, no, this isn't the sunset color. This is that green, the sprout. So this is just a fun way to give those holly leaves a very sharp, clean edge. The other thing is that there are types of holly that have sort of I don't want to call it variegated because it's not technically variegated, but they have a little bit of a golden yellow or a bright green edge on them.
Patrick says, I'm sorry I have to go, otherwise we won't have dinner tonight. Enjoy the rest of the class, and thank you, Tracy.
Take care, Patrick.
Have a good one, Patrick.
So, all of those little vines and tendrils get the same treatment. So if there's little lines coming off of the leaves, they're going to get that same little treatment on there. I like that. So there we have. I'm going to pull it up to the camera so that you can get a closer look. So like that. It sort of finishes things off really nicely. I just realized I missed one. There we go. Now, our little guy, his hat sort of blends into the background a little bit. So we're going to take out our rigger. I'm using a number 2 for this.
Nope, Edward's gone too.
Have a good weekend, Edward. So our lettering all gets done with that number 2 rigger. I like the number 2 because I can fill in this space quite nicely. The number 2 is ideal for larger lettering because the brush will actually cover about almost 1/4 of an inch or more of that space. So I'm just going to fill in my lettering. So once we have the lettering all painted, we're going to use a little bit of soft black, which is that color that I used back there. And we're going to set this forward. We're going to make that hat stand out from the rest of the background with just a little bit of soft black. I love soft black on red. It's a great shading color. So Miss Dot had her morning at the spa.
If you want to call it that.
We're going to call it a spa. She went and had her bath today.
Yes.
She was a stinky puppy. Send her off to the spa. So the boys took her out this morning for her spa date. And then she came home and promptly rolled around in the lawn.
Yeah, that's what she do.
Yeah.
Can't have your dog too clean.
No.
Otherwise they get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Once a month, or depending on how filthy they get.
Yeah.
If they're not a very active outdoor dog, then you could probably get away with once a month.
But Miss Dot, because of her disability, cannot bath herself the way most dogs do, so she has to be cleaned thoroughly.
And she was cleaned.
And she was thoroughly cleaned.
Thoroughly. She doesn't like cold water.
No. She doesn't like water. Unless it's to drink.
Oh. Apparently. She didn't mind the rain the other day.
No, she didn't. Which I found that rather funny, but she usually does not want to go out in the rain. But she went for her walk.
Yep. I have a mobile groomer that comes to the house once a month. That's awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great idea. A mobile groomer.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Now, I'm base coated. These letters are just done with warm white. 2 coats should do it. Because you're working over top of this red, it's unlikely that you're going to get it to cover fully in 1 coat. You might get lucky, though. 1 is okay. 2 is better. And I'm not too worried about whether or not these letters are absolutely perfect, to be perfectly honest. Because they're supposed to look a little bit wonky, a little bit distressed, a little bit imperfect. So if they're not crisp, clean, and absolutely spot on, don't worry about it. They're essentially supposed to look like icing.
Wow, we're 2.5 hours into this, and I have yet to be asked a dog question.
I know.
That's a first.
But we're actually getting pretty close to done. So if you have puppy questions, now's a good time.
And I'm still coming up with ideas for a puppy podcast or something. Thinking about it.
Well, you have to have something.
I got to be careful on subject matter, and I don't step on other trainers' toes.
Yep.
So I also don't want to bash other trainers.
No, because each one has systems that work for them. So just because it's not something you like using or don't have success with doesn't mean that they don't. So.
And I also got to be careful with what tools I talk about too.
Yeah.
Some people
Well,
have their opinions.
Yep.
And they're allowed to have them. But some tools are more effective than others. If used properly.
Well, if Miss Dot's behavior is of anything to go by, you're pretty good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Because she's a good pup.
Faye Reed. Okay, Renee. Your border collie is barking a lot. It's a border collie.
Yep.
Since we got home from vacation. More than usual. Any ideas? They missed you?
Unless the dogs were with them.
Oh, were the dogs with you?
Yeah.
They're barking a lot. Well, what's the situation? What's causing them to bark?
Check the behavior too. So
Yeah. Are you talking to them while they're barking? Or they're just trying to communicate back? There could be a lot of things.
And they're border collies.
And they're border collies. They bark. It's a herding dog. Herding dogs bark. But yeah, what? Look at you.
Oh, crap.
Okay. Well, first off, Soup Pots donated $20 for the puppers.
Yay. Thank you, Sue.
And then Jessica Killen backs it up with another $20.
Nice.
Saying, you got this, Renee. We believe in you. We'll do a great job.
That's awesome. We love it.
We love it.
So we're going to be sending a nice chunk of change to the shelter this month. That's awesome.
He was Oh, he was on the farm with other dogs.
Okay. He's lonely.
So you took him to a farm with farm dogs and hung out with dogs that typically could bark their heads off with no repercussions. And
And now he's barking.
now he's barking and learned a behavior from other farm dogs.
Yeah. I'm going to have to unlearn it.
Take him back to the farm. He's a border collie. That's where he
happy.
belongs. He needs to be on the farm working.
Yeah. They're working dogs.
They're a working dog. He's barking because that's what he learned to do while he was at the farm.
Yeah.
He'll either go away.
Yep.
Or you take him back to the farm and he can get away with it.
One of the two. Let him get away with it or don't. Okay, so I have my lettering in place. This part's really fun. I just wanted to make sure all my lettering was reasonably opaque. It'll do for what I'm... So, I wanted this to look like candy or icing or what have you. So, the colors that I chose, I have that fabulous blue, that blue raspberry. And I went with this one here. This is that fuchsia pop. I wanted this to have that sort of sweet candy look. I also wanted it to carry some of the colors from elsewhere in this piece. Remember, we had the icing, the pink and the blue. I kind of wanted to carry it from there. So, and because this is icing, I'm going to use a little bit of that blue.
We're thinking of getting him a friend to play with. Yeah.
Well, actually, a border collie, they tend to settle a bit when they've got a buddy.
Yeah. But they also teach learned behaviors.
Yeah.
So you
might end up with two of them that are barking.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. My friend's son had a 1-year-old German Shepherd with high energy at night. He does take her for walks in the mornings. Is it just because he is still a young pup? No, he has too much energy before he goes to bed. If he's got a lot of energy, he needs to go burn it.
Outside.
It's not just because he's a young pup. He needs to go for German Shepherds, walk them 3 to 4 times a day. Easy.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like 1 kilometer. We're talking 3 to 4 kilometers.
Take him down to the soccer pitch and just let him loose with a ball.
Go play fetch. Go do something. Go do German Shepherd things.
Yeah. They need to be kept busy.
Lemmy lunges and barks aggressively at people who talk to us and other dogs. Is it on leash or off leash? But if you mind your own business, he just watches you instead. Lemmy is being a protector.
Yeah.
He doesn't like people being too close to you. You got to teach him that behavior is not acceptable, and when it is.
Yeah. So.
What was Lemmy? Lemmy was JL Brewer dog. I can't remember now.
On leash. Okay.
What
So,
is-
JL's dog, Lemmy, he's on leash, not off. So, the bottom of the Christmas, I just floated with that blue raspberry. I just love the bat. I like that gradient. So, it instantly highlights. So, you don't really have to do anything else to that lettering because you've started with your darker value at the bottom and then it instantly highlights. And then the bottom of these the word cookies, I used that fuchsia pop.
You didn't cross your T.
I will.
You can thank Soup Pots for that one. You didn't cross your T.
And then I'm using the fuchsia pop at the base of the cookies. The other thing I love about this is that I don't really have to do a whole lot to shade this. It's super simple. It's just a float, and I'm coming about halfway up the letter. And I keep the darkest value at the bottom and just let it gradually fade out as it goes up. But I like to make sure that color comes up about halfway up the letter. Like so. Easy peasy. So now comes the fun part. We have cookies done. We have our gnome is done, the beard, and all of the fun stuff is done. We've got all of the lettering done. This is all I did to the lettering. Base coat it white, shaded at the bottom, done. The highlights up top don't really matter. You don't have to because they're white. And then the top of this hat, I floated with a little bit of that same blue. I'm going to deepen that float with a little bit of asphaltum. Again, I use this color heavily thinned. I don't want it full strength. I'm going to put a little bit of asphaltum on my pom-pom. Let it dry. And I'm going to put a highlight on the top of my pom-pom too. Little dot.
Boom.
Kaboom. So now we are ready to start separating the hat from the background, and we're going to do that with soft black.
Nancy's asking, did you thin the paint for working with rigor with glazing medium?
Always. I use either water or glaze to thin my paint, no matter what I'm painting. So I have a little bit of soft black on angled shader. Oof, too much water. And we're going to shade around the hat right over top of the lettering.
I'm going to have to refresh this chat. This chat is like 10 miles behind.
Yeah. So I'm running a float of that soft black down the side of the hat. And I'm going to continue that soft black down to the cookies. To the cookies.
Oh, you haven't even done the leaves on the handle.
That's just holly. We did the holly on the hat. It's the same process. So I like to take that soft black down in and around the cookies. Same on this side. Get in and around your cookies.
Oh. That's a hard one, and I've never had to deal with a grieving dog.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a hard one to work with. That one's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of treats, a lot of exercise.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. It will take time, but it's not a matter of getting over it. It's adapting.
Just like humans do.
Yeah. Oh, I missed JL's there. We don't dare let him off leash with lunging. Good. We reward him when he's calm. Good. But calming him is near impossible until the person or dog leaves sight. You need a corrective leash. You need a slip lead or a martingale collar. And if you have to walk him with two leashes, so be it.
Yeah.
One for correction, one for just holding him.
Yeah. So, by putting that little float down either side and around and up there, it does a couple of things. It takes all of these elements back here and brings them forward. By putting the shadow along there, it sets the lettering backward and brings the hat forward. Just by changing the value. So now the hat has come forward and everything else is set back, which is what we wanted. Now you can repeat this numerous times. If you really want it well separated, you can repeat it numerous times. However, it's like working with black. If you continue to put layer upon layer upon layer on, it gets very heavy and very dark. So that's about the time that I will switch to a little bit of asphaltum for this. So I will come back over that same float and I will deepen it with a float of asphaltum. It gives me the depth that I want. It gives me a sharper value, but it doesn't turn black. And that's what you want to avoid. You don't want those shadows to be black. You want them to be darker, but not black. And so a little float of asphaltum will do that for you. So it just deepens your soft black a little bit without making it more black.
Does a gentle leader count as a corrective? No. A gentle leader is exactly that. It's a gentle lead.
Yeah.
It's not a corrective tool.
So I've got a little bit of soft black on my brush, and I'm going to come in from the edge of the hat. Sorry, went on the wrong side. Come in from the edge of the hat with a float, soft black, and I'm coming up right to the tip of the hat. Easy float. Don't overdo it. And you're going to do the same thing along the top of the hat, like so. And all this does is just gives the hat a little more shape.
That just popped him out.
And then a little bit of warm white. You can do this with a dry brush if you prefer. Either one will work. I'm just going to do it with a float. I'm going to put a float on the opposite side. Again, very weak and in from the edge by a little bit. I don't take it right to the edge. And that little highlight just gives that hat a little more shape and forces it forward even a little bit more. So this is where you can sort of sit back and you have a look at your the various places in your piece that you feel maybe need to be adjusted a little bit. The shadow on his sleeves was not quite dark enough, so I'm taking a little bit soft black just to deepen those.
Is the tea finished? They're really concerned about you crossing your T's.
I know. No, the tea isn't finished.
Okay, I'll look into a martingale then. Okay. When you find a martingale that you like, make sure it's fitted properly, high up on the neck, behind the jaw. Don't have it way down on the neck near the bottom of their throat.
Yep.
Have it nice and high up underneath their jawline.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's not going to work for you.
Yep.
And depending on what Lemmy is, I can't remember what he is.
Yeah. So I have nice little shadows everywhere. I am, however, going to grab my dry brush because there's a couple of places I want to... Oof, that brush is wet. There's a couple of places where I want to... I want to brighten some highlights. So I'm just going to load my point blender with some warm white. I just want to brighten a few spots. I like my... There's just a few little things that were just not doing it for me. There we go. I can smell gumbo. So we have a few little tweaks to do. I need a little highlight on the top edge of my cookie. Right here.
Right.
A little bit here.
Border Collie and Aussie Shep.
Yeah.
They'll learn quick. Especially the Border Collie part. Once you show them that behavior is not acceptable, they'll go, okay.
Yep.
But as soon as they do whatever you want them to do, just be quick with the reward because they will get frustrated quickly and bite you. And I'm talking from experience. Border Collies will bite you if they become frustrated.
Yep.
Oh, what's this? Do you think that an older dog can get dementia? Yes, they can. They can also get Alzheimer's. Like a human. She's 17.
Oh
Old
my
dog.
goodness.
She will do trips through the house back and forth for an hour. She does circles. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
She's always been a buddy to my hubby, but lately she will just disappear. We'll find her by herself asleep. She does sleep most of the time now, but the pacing is crazy. That could be anxiety. That could be... I'd take a trip to the vet. Get her checked out. The pacing could be multitude of things. Could be stress. Could be anxiety. Could be...
It could be pain.
It could be pain.
Yeah.
But sleeping a lot is usually a sign that something's wrong.
Yeah.
So go to a vet. Get them checked out. If the vet says they're all good to go. 17 is an old dog.
Yeah.
He's just tired. Take him out. Let him pace outside. Good exercise.
Stuff to smell. So I'm just going to, because we can, I'm just going to finish up my holly leaves here because they don't take very long. And again, look at how nicely that green covers. It's phenomenal how nice that covers.
How do you know when to shade with black or asphaltum?
I very rarely shade with black, simply because I find it very, very harsh. So I tend to go to the very dark value of whatever base color I'm using. As I did, I used black to shade those berries, but I mixed it with the base color. So it actually became a very dark red. I find black by itself is cold and very harsh for shading, unless, of course, you're shading something that needs black. But asphaltum is my toning color. I use it 90% of the time over top of my shading colors. It just tones things. That's my go-to. I've been playing with a couple of ideas. I have a stack of line drawings sitting on my desk of designs that I've come up with. When I'll get to painting half of them, I don't know, but they're there.
Well, what color is the green you are using?
That is the Lush green, that new green. It's gorgeous. And it covers beautifully. So again, I've got a white base. I put that country red over top of my white base. Look at how those berries pop out of there. I love that.
Some of my friends are like that too when they get frustrated. Nip, nip.
Yeah. Yeah. Humans do it.
Yep.
All the time. So, just to reiterate, going to shade these leaves with the plantation pine. And I like my shading color. Base of the leaf where it joins the stem. Follow the shape of the leaf. So if it's a V shape, make it a V shape. If it's a U shape, make it a U shape. I like that.
Oh, I just had another great idea for JL and her border collie.
Oh, okay.
Here's an easier one before you start spending money on corrective tools. Get a bag of treats. Their favorite treat. The bestest of treats.
Yep, they're a high value treat.
Their high value training treat. Go on your walk, and as soon as your dog starts become locked on another dog and starts barking and starts wanting to lunge, wave their favorite treat in front of them. Don't give it to them. Wave it in front of them until they give you eye contact, or they sit down and give you eye contact. Because now you've taken their attention away from what is bugging them.
Yep.
To, ooh, I like that. I want that.
Yep. Can I have that?
Now they'll do whatever you want for that treat.
Yep.
Then give it to them. If they immediately go back to it, that's when the correction should happen. That's not what I wanted you to do. You did what I wanted you to do.
Yep.
Go back to doing that.
Yep.
And then just keep walking.
Yep.
Use your body as a block. If you're walking on the left-hand side of the road, have your dog on the left-hand side of you, protecting your dog. And have whatever's passing by on your right side. It's setting yourself up for success.
So I put a float of that plantation pine down the center vein. And now I'm going to pick up a little of that sprout. I know it seems like an odd color to want to highlight this green with, but it's yummy. It's a yummy color. And it has lots of light in it. So great on the points. Look at that. Look how pretty on the points. Ooh, too much. Too much. There we go. There, that's better. Such a yummy color. Yum, yum, yum. So I've got a little bit of that color on the points. Now I'm going to go up the center vein, opposite that shadow. Remember? Look how pretty. Gives us great highlight. Surprising considering how it's almost a garish yellow-green. Almost. But yet, wonderful highlight color.
Oh, I have treats, but he doesn't care about it once he is focused on... Yeah, that's border collies.
I got stuff to do.
They got laser focus.
So I've got my highlights in place, and I used that sprout, very pretty green. And now I'm going to come back to that plantation pine. I'm going to float just to clean up those highlights. I want nice chisel, sharp highlights. So I'm going to float that plantation pine right down that center vein, and it gives us really nice definition of those leaves. Look at that. Nice and sharp. So again, the berries. Again, to reiterate, I'm going to pick up a little bit lamp black. Just a little. I'm going to blend it out really well on my palette. And then I'm going to pick up country red, so that I make a very dark red. A very, very, very dark red. And I'm going to put a shadow like so on each berry, coming in from the edge. Just a little. You just want a sliver of that base color showing through.
To a border collie, everything is sheep.
That's true.
Yes. That is true. Everything is sheep.
You're sheep.
You are sheep to them.
You're just something that needs to be herded
and
protected. So the highlight on these berries is some thinned warm white.
Nancy's either mad at you or...
What did I do?
The puddle of paint that has been sitting there for a while and it has been untouched is still viable? Yeah. How do you do that?
I don't know. I think because I use such large puddles of paint, it's a habit I got into working in the faux finishing industry. You cannot have these little micro dots of paint.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just a habit I got into. I worked with large puddles of paint. And so it's always been that. They don't dry out because I do eventually use them, but because it's a larger quantity of paint, it takes much longer for it to dry. So now highlight these berries, just a little dip dot, upper left. Comme ça. Some fun, huh, baby? And then that's where we're going to, remember what we did on the hat? We did all of that fun little outlining and detailing on those vines and tendrils. We're going to do that with that, what did I call that green? Hello, English.
20-pound chihuahua? Say what? A 20-pound, 9-year-old chihuahua.
Oh my.
I would walk him till failure.
Yeah.
Not like I don't walk him to death, obviously. But till he's had enough.
Yeah.
and then pick him up, take him home, and then think about how far you walked him, and then walk him to that point and keep extending it just a little more every time.
Yeah.
He'll lose weight. He will lose weight sooner or later.
Yeah.
And then look at his diet. I don't want to know what his diet was if he's 20 pounds. He has too much access to food.
Yeah. Well, look at Gizmo. Holy smoke.
Oh, Gizmo has complete access to food. All the time, every time.
Yeah, but he's a cat. Cats
eat.
Cats eat, but they eat constantly.
Yeah, but they also eat only when they're hungry.
That's true.
They don't eat because
it's there.
They just eat.
Yeah.
That's enough. Carry on.
He's still chunky, though.
Yeah, he's chunky, but it's also his breed.
That's true. Yeah, his
breed of cat is normally used for mousing.
Yeah, he's the epitome of a barn cat.
Yeah.
Gizmo, you have a 20-pound Chihuahua. We have a 21-pound cat.
Silver Point
Tabby. His feet are huge.
He's a barn dog or barn cat.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in a barn chasing mice.
Yep.
He would be slim. Well, he wouldn't be slim, but he's all muscle.
Yeah, he's chunky.
But he's chunky.
But he's just so
See him
mellow.
Jump?
Oh yeah, it's surprising to see a cat that size jump.
He is a mixed Chihuahua, but yes, it is a large, small dog with a huge attitude to match my husband's. To a T.
Oh,
okay.
He's got a buddy.
He's a mixed Chihuahua. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just about finished with all our little detail work.
Is that your 50-knot liner?
It's the 10-knot.
10-knot liner.
Yeah.
And it is a Dynasty Micron.
Yeah.
I'm getting to know the handles.
Yeah, extra long detail liner. So there is our Christmas cookies. Now, there's lots of graphite lines and whatnot in there. I'll go around and clean those up at some point. I'm going to dry this real quick. Now, we have to spatter this because I like spatter. And the other thing that I also like, this is where I can use a little bit of that lamp black on an angled shader. A little too much water. This is where I like to go in and just darken a few things. So you can take your lamp black, your soft black, and putting in a few floats down there is just going to deepen everything, bring the visual down a bit. Now, there is such thing as visual weight. And this is where that comes into play. If I were to not shade down here, it would still look okay. But it would look like I had a gnome and a bunch of cookies just floating across the bottom of this. And not necessarily a bad thing, however. A little bit of visual weight, it just means that down here becomes heavier than the top part. So we have the darker values down here and it's lighter up here. So visually it makes the image look a little bit heavier at the base. And it just works really well and it grounds things. So this doesn't look like it's just hovering or floating there. So we're going to take my fugly brush. I love my fugly brush. And I'm going to thin out a little bit of warm white. I didn't have enough on my palette. There we go. I'm going to thin out some warm white. And I'm going to generously spatter this because I like it.
You like spattering things.
I like spatter. And it depends on what it is. I like white over this dark red. It just looks like snow. And it's very festive. So a little bit of warm white on there. And then from this point, if you wanted to, a little bit of galaxy glitter in a few places wouldn't go amiss. I do like the galaxy glitters. They're fun.
No. No to the galaxy glitter.
No to the galaxy glitters. Okay. But I do like to take my little gel pen in there and just add little sketchy lines here and there. It's just, a way to make things a little more detailed if you want to. That's the nice thing about the gel pen. That 01 ink marker will also work for that. So if you don't have the gel pen, or if you can't find them, whatever, don't be afraid to use that little gel pen to add details and whatnot to your piece.
Opal dust?
Opal dust. Opal dust.
Is that a type of glitter?
It is,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's mixed in with a varnish, so it seals in. It's pretty.
Oh, so it's like a liquid?
Yes, it's a liquid, not dry glitter.
I could do with the...
So is Galaxy glitter. It's a liquid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So is Starlight glitter.
I thought galaxy glitter was that stuff, the powdered
No,
stuff.
that's glamour dust.
No, that's glamour dust. None of that.
No.
That stuff's dangerous.
Yeah. So from this point, the only thing I would have left to do is to finish up the edges. This is how I like finishing the edges on things like this. I have a 18 karat gold paint pen.
Yay!
You can use the Krylon pen. I use this Deco Color one. These ones are from Marvi Yoshida. I do like these ones. And they're easy to find. You can get them at Michael's. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon. So it's an easy one. And this is just a fast and easy finish for the edges of your painted pieces. And just use that paint pen to go over the edge. If you want, you can come on to the corner a little bit and put a nice little gold border around things. Comme ça. So it's a nice way to finish things up.
I don't want glitter beard.
No, he does not want glitter beard. Glitter beard.
No glitter beard.
No glitter beard.
Not going to work with glitter beard.
So this is a fun and easy way to finish up pieces. You can put that little bit of gold border on there. Works really quick, dries quick, and it's easier than trying to paint the edges, I have a couple of ways to do this, but I like the gold paint pen. It works really well. So I'm just going to finish off that edge. Now the only thing that I have left to do for this is I'll sign it, and then I will make sure it dries really well. Then I'll go around, clean up the graphite lines, and then I'll seal it with 2 to 3 light coats of DecoArt matte spray. And then from there, I will usually decide to use either the DuraClear matte or the Ultra Matte varnish to finish it off.
Nancy found out yesterday that you cannot brush water-based varnish over white gel pen. Smeared my lettering.
Yes, it will. You have to hit it with a matte spray before you seal it with varnish. Works much better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was fun. I hope I covered enough about the new colors that it's going to take some of the trial and error away for you.
Renee, could you be the glitter fairy?
Oh, no chance of him ever being the glitter fairy.
There we go. Oh, yeah, we still got a name to...
We still have a name to draw.
Did I accidentally close the wheel? No, I didn't. You guys ready for another wheel?
We got another wheel.
Let's see who we got. Here we go. We got a name. 3, 2, 1.
Opal Dust Mice being nice and cookies.
Debbie McClellan.
Nice. Excellent. Debbie McClellan is our winner. So if, ladies, all of the winners, please go to the front page of my website, click on the little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the homepage, and send us a quick message with your shipping information just to be on the safe side. We might have it, but just in case. All of the prizes that we draw for during our lives are shipped the following Monday. So if drawn on Saturday, it's out the door on Monday morning. So
Yeah.
usually within 7 to 14 days, it shows up where it needs to go.
Usually.
Usually. Sometimes drags out a little bit. That is on the post office. Not on us.
You can either blame Canada Post or USPS.
Yeah.
So.
We've also been shipping about every 24 hours. So if you place an order on the website and you have to have something shipped to you, it usually ships within 24 hours. So if we get the order on Monday, it's usually out of here by Wednesday morning. So it goes out with the Wednesday shipments. So we have boxes of product going out of here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we don't hold on to stuff for too long. It's out of here.
We try not to.
We try not to. So, what else? Hopefully you guys got something out of this, that you've got a little information about the colors. Again, I can put together a short document. We'll post that up on there with suggested base coat or undercoating colors for some of those transparent colors. That might be helpful. And what else? Join us next Saturday. We're going to be doing some Christmas ornaments next Saturday. Something fun, something easy.
Something easy?
Yeah, fun and easy.
Fun and easy.
Fun and easy. As opposed to fun and difficult.
Well, fun and easy to you could be extremely difficult to others.
I suppose so. Highly unlikely. I don't have that kind of energy.
Today we're doing stick figures.
Not quite.
Yes, gumbo for dinner.
Yes, we're having gumbo for dinner.
As usual, a fantastic lesson.
I'm glad you guys enjoy it. We have a lot of fun putting these together. And I wanted to spend some time going over the new colors so that you would get an idea of how they can be used. I think you're going to really like the new colors that they put out this year. The fact that we do have some really nice opaque colors and semi-transparent colors, and then we have those awesome fully transparent colors. That's exciting. We haven't had really transparent colors in a number of years, so it's really great to see some of them coming back. And the fact that they're in such trending colors. So it's nice to see those. I did play with them on watercolor paper. They're fabulous. You can get wonderful, vibrant, great floral colors out of them. They're really very pretty. If you get an opportunity, go and check out the website. When we posted the new Tombow markers, Tombow provided us with great information sheet, so it's right in the description. So if you have any questions about the new Tombow markers, go and check that out on the website.
Linda Safranco says, remind everyone that this Thursday you are on next Thursday you're on Artfully Connected.
Yes, on next Thursday I'm on Artfully Connected. It's a free class, so you'll be able to watch it on the Facebook page for Artfully Connected. We're connecting through Zoom. Yeah, connecting through Zoom. So I'll be live on that. If you're looking for the pattern, it's on the website. We also have the kit available. So if you want the surface and all the other hoo-haws that go with it, we have those available on the website. The piece that I'm painting is called Hot Cocoa. It's a fun one. It's got some nice little lettering technique in there. 3 different types of font in that piece. So we've got lots of fun things to cover, plus some simple stenciling techniques and some other fun stuff. So it'll be fun. Not to mention Artfully Connected has some really great workshops running all through July. So if you're interested in seeing some of those, remember they are free. You can watch them for free. If you want to do the piece, you can order the pattern from the teacher. Check out the Facebook page, Artfully Connected on Facebook. With Cindy Harrison. You're going to love what you see. There's Wendy, Judy Westergaard. My brain was not going there. Judy Westergaard taught the other day. She did a beautiful piece on there. And there's more classes coming up. I believe there's at least a couple every week. And I'm next Thursday on the 21st. So go and check that out on Artfully Connected on Facebook. Ooh. Oh, what else is coming up? I just got notification yesterday. I've been accepted to teach for Art Waves Online. So I have 3 classes coming up in the fall. For that, in November, I know I've been busy.
Are those Zooms?
They are Zooms. Yes, they're Zoom classes. So we have 3 of those, and I've got a couple of chapter things coming up in the fall. One with Hoot Chapter. Also a Zoom So
Jeez.
if you're interested in that, get in touch with the Hoot ladies at Hoot. They're awesome. And what else? New pattern will be out this week. New membership pattern is already done and complete. We'll upload that for the end of the month. And don't forget to go and check out some of the new printables that we posted on the website this week.
You are way ahead of yourself.
It's scary.
How?
I don't know. I still think I forgot something.
I left for work Monday, and I came back yesterday. And you got all that done?
I did.
Wow.
Like I said, I have lists. If I don't have lists,
How
I'm lost.
caffeinated were you?
Not. Remember, I had a caffeine headache this week because I stopped drinking coffee and tea for a couple of days. Because
That didn't go well.
it didn't go well. I ended up with a nasty headache. It was not fun. So that is it for us this week, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us every Saturday. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that big red one.
They have you listed for a Saturday morning?
Don't think so.
Uh-oh.
I'll
That's what,
check on it.
that's what Linda Stefranco says.
Don't think so.
She's usually on top of stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You might want to go
Which,
check it.
not Artfully Connected. Art Waves has me listed for a Saturday. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yep. I have a Saturday.
Okay.
Yep. Is all good.
And still working on it.
Uh-huh.
The dog podcast.
Yeah. He'll come up with it.
I'll come up with it. I'm just thinking of a...
Robin R., it's a shame I have nothing going on. And Sue Pot's so glad I'll be back at Artwaves. I'm happy to be back. Artwaves is fun.
But yeah. I'm just thinking of a what's the word for it?
You can't get there from here?
A format.
A format, yes. Excellent notion.
That's the word I was looking for. Format.
All right, guys, that's it for us this weekend. Thanks again for joining us every Saturday. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel to subscribe and turn on your bell notification so that you know when we have new video going up. And just on a whim, if you're interested, there's a blue join button on there too. You could join the paid membership group. We have all kinds of fun on there, lots of painting and access to classes and lots of free stuff. So again, that's it for us this weekend. Thank you again. As always, we love you and please stay safe. Mwah. Bye.
See ya.